Hey everyone, welcome to FanFic Canon. Thanks for hitting play. I'm thrilled to bring this fan-made story to life for you. If you enjoy the ride and want more narrated fanfics, smash, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss an episode. And if you want audiobook of a novel of your choice, join my Patreon. Request any title that's freely available online, and I'll produce a full narration just for you. Now, let's dive into today's adventure.
Tilu put away the pot and retreated behind Ray again. Quickly fulfill the master's needs, this is what she wants to do. As for why she had magic fluid, Ray didn't know. This is because Ray once asked her to spend money to train slave girls to enhance their strength. Although she doesn't quite understand the reason, she will do her best. Goblins are also part of Ray's men's strength. Therefore, the resources needed for the growth of fairies are also necessary. The Adventurers Guild's intelligence sources are richer than Aurora's. If you want to buy the best. The most important thing for the owner is money. These magic liquids were purchased through the guild's channels. The conversation continued. This time it was Ray who spoke first. Princess Aurora, your target is the special monster in the dungeon or the holy level, right? Well, that's right. Even though my heart was shocked by what happened before, Aurora quickly adjusted after hearing him talk about business. Ray continued. It goes without saying that special holy level monsters are much stronger than ordinary monsters. How many holy level strongmen do you plan to recruit? Aurora pondered for a moment, not intending to deceive him. My ideal situation is that the more the better, but currently I don't have any strong men. However, I can guarantee that I will set off after gathering enough combat power. Ray chuckled. Do you know how many adventurers of the same level are usually required to defeat special monsters safely? Of course, Aurora had investigated it. This is also the problem that troubles her the most. 10 people, a complete team, is similar to attacking the floor master, right? Yes, but I'm afraid the 10 people you need are not enough, because we still have to protect you, don't we? After hearing what Ray said, Aurora was silent briefly. To lift the curse, killing the monster is not enough. As the holder of the curse, she must break the curse on the spot. Her mother had actually figured out how to break the curse. The problem is she is an ordinary person and the monster is on the 56th floor. The 56th floor of the dungeon is the second half of the holy class. The monsters there are simply not something adventurers of the same level can contend with. Special monster, its strength will only become more exaggerated. In other words, a saint-level powerhouse who accepted Aurora's commission. Not only do you have to break into the 56th floor, you also have to deal with special monsters. Most importantly, protect Aurora. As a princess, Aurora is still a member of the royal family even if she is questioned by others. If something happens to her, no one will be able to forgive her. It's a completely thankless chore. Aurora promised to pay a lot of money. For Ray, that is only a benefit that will not be available for a while and may not be available yet. For others, even if Aurora is relieved of the curse, she may not be able to become king. The queen's ascension to the throne is bound to be controversial. The other saints originally risked their lives to help her, but they still got an uncertain answer. Don't say anything if you can't get any benefits. Being in the wrong team is a complete dead end for someone who already has fame and status. So when Aurora came to Labyrinth City, many people knew about her arrival and purpose, but no one offered to help. She could only go door to door to lobby. Perhaps that's why there were no pursuers. No one thought she could succeed. Ray saw that Liu was full and he had almost eaten as well. He stood up, looked at Aurora and said, Your Highness, it seems that I don't need your things. In this case, just consider our conversation over. If you need a saint-level powerhouse, you can find someone else. Talk to people. Wait a minute. Aurora stood up and called him. But when Ray turned around, she didn't know what to say. He couldn't come up with satisfactory conditions, so he could only make empty promises. And it may also put the other party into crisis. Under such conditions, she really didn't know what conditions to come up with. If she hadn't had no other choice, she wouldn't have come to lift the curse at this time and seek help from a stranger. Aurora suddenly remembered Emily's words. As long as she finds the right way, Ray might be able to help her. But what method? She couldn't think of anything, so she could only grit her teeth and ask directly. Well, Mr. Ray, why are you willing to help Emily? Ray looked at her. Has Emily told you? No, there isn't. Aurora shook her head. She just mentioned it casually, but my intuition tells me that you must have helped her. Ray paused. He said that Emily was his slave and he thought she was pretty good, so he just chose to keep her. This princess seems to be friends with Emily, so it's better to save some face for Emily. After thinking about it, he asked Tilu to call Emily, who deliberately avoided the conversation. Emily frowned and looked at him. Whatever you ask me to do, I will accept whatever decision you make. Yes, her current identity is still Ray's slave. One day we will rescue her. I believe it won't be long. That's it. He and I are lovers, based on her current relationship with Ray. Otherwise, wouldn't it be a joke if my former friends found out that, as a knight, I was deceived into becoming a slave? She immediately wanted to deny what she just said. Emily took a deep breath under the eyes of several people. The contract was always there, but because she was so used to it and what happened later, she had completely forgotten about it. After being asked, Emily looked at Ray, trust flashing in her eyes. Thinking about it, Emily couldn't help but blush. Aurora didn't show any surprise, her previous attitude had completely calmed down. Emily fixed her gaze and repeated, "It's just lovers." No, after all, she was an acquaintance, so she couldn't say anything. Tell her that you are Ray's slave. A slave would never be a normal identity no matter how you think about it. Seems to be provoked. Emily looked at Aurora, who was staring at her curiously. Ray showed a playful look. Princess Aurora asked us what our relationship is. After hearing what she said, I just remembered it now, but it seemed not very good to answer directly, so I let you answer it. It seems to be saying, don't you know your current identity? Liar. At this time, she told herself countless times that this was a last resort. After saying that, she saw the playful smile on Ray's face. After saying that, she turned around and left. Emily was stunned for a moment and then remembered something. Bless you, Emily. But what is Princess Alice going to do? Tilu snorted coldly, her eyes cold. But how to answer that? This is just choosing the stronger option between two answers. The voice is as thin as a mosquito's moan. Aurora said. She turned to Ray. Thank you for being willing to talk to me. I also understand why you can't help, so goodbye. Fortunately, Ray didn't answer directly. That's not it. Ray looked at Aurora's leaving figure with confusion. When she left, her attitude changed completely. He didn't care either because Emily had already twisted her hand to his soft flesh. Ray suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Miss Emily, who taught you this trick? Emily twisted the flesh between her fingers 180 degrees without mercy. How did you end up talking about our relationship? She rarely showed this look. It seemed that she had just been asked to reveal their relationship in person, which really made her at a loss. Turu quickly slapped her hand away. HMPH, you shamelessly lied about your relationship and dared to attack your master. I will be your opponent. Emily showed no sign of weakness. After all, if there was a fight, Tilu would lower his level and fight her. But in the end, considering that this was a hotel, the two of them stopped in time. After listening to the previous conversation, Emily was a little confused. Why don't you help her? There shouldn't be any harm to us, right? Emily was just confused. Because Ray's reason for rejecting Aurora was mainly due to uncertainty and danger. With Emily's guarantee and Aurora's identity, the latter will never skip the reward. As for the danger, Emily, who knows Ray well, certainly knows. That matter can be completed perfectly if left to Ray alone, and there is no danger at all. So everything Ray said was an excuse, he just didn't agree to help. Before Ray could answer, Emily thought of something. You don't think helping her will cause trouble later, do you? I have to say that she is getting to know Ray better and better. He really thought so, but that's only half right. After hearing what Ray said, Emily asked, what is the other half? Tilu said coldly. The master said it from the beginning. The other party said it was a transaction, but he couldn't get the reward for the transaction, so he refused to help. Simply put, as a princess, Aurora wants to make a deal with Ray. But what she can give is just a blank check, and she can only get the benefits after she takes office. The transaction was to pay the money and deliver the goods, so Ray rejected her. If Aurora had made the request as Emily's friend, for Emily's sake, the matter would have been settled long ago. After all, it was just the next trip to the dungeon, and Ray was going there in the first place. Similar to the difference between people around you and outsiders. Emily also understood this and tried hard to suppress the rise of the corners of her mouth. Then he saw Ray's half-smiling expression. She rushed forward instantly and Tilu stood up. The battle between the two was still unavoidable, and the troubled hotel was destroyed again. But in the end, Ray used more gold coins to get Crow's forgiveness. Princess. Seeing the people in front of her walking faster and faster, Michelle couldn't help but turn up the volume. Princess, what should we do next? Aurora finally stopped. Yes, the first person failed. Who should we go to next? Ray made her realize again that the biggest problem she faced was herself. As an ordinary person, she is extremely fragile. Even the aftermath of a saint-level battle could kill her. It's difficult to convince just one person. How can you convince more than 10 saints? Aurora sighed and then showed her determined gaze again. She came here after realizing that it was impossible. Of course, you won't give up after failing once. As for why she changed her attitude. It's terrifying how much love changes people, she thought. The former Emily was loyal to the country and the princess. Now it seems that she is just a woman whose love brain takes over everything. She originally thought that Emily was secretly arranging the power to rescue Princess Alice. As a result, she actually said, "I will save him one day." When will the day come? Is this still the Emily who dares to take action? Although he has no idea what happened, the young man named Ray must have done something extraordinary to make Emily become what she is now. This is not over yet. She asked Ray why he helped Emily, and the answer she got was the relationship between the two. What does that mean? Does this mean that if you want to get his help, do you want to be his person like Emily? Yes, that's probably the case. When Emily told herself before, she hesitated probably because it was inconvenient to say the answer. Aurora herself knew it very well. As a member of the royal family, she also has considerable talents and beauty, and is indeed very popular with the opposite S*X. The mirror in the room revealed her features. Standing there was a beautiful girl with blonde hair. Wearing a red dress, she has an upright appearance, skin as white as fat, a high nose bridge, and crystal clear golden eyes. She has a standard Western beauty appearance. Her face was slightly wrinkled, as if she had endless worries and her delicate skin could be broken by a blow. Aurora patted her face to cheer herself up. She wouldn't give in to that boy. She wants to use her own hands to seize her future. "Michelle, where is Mr. Rand's current location? Let's go talk to him directly." Seeing the princess regain her condition, Michelle smiled. He has made a great contribution recently, so he did not go to the underground city or leave the city. Lord Rand should be in Custom Street now. "Okay, then let's go," Aurora said, stunned. Did she hear it right? Custom Street is a gathering place for custom women. The holy man in the security bureau is said to be an upright person. How can he be upright? Seeing Aurora's stiff expression, Michelle explained, "I heard that Mr. Rand seems to have no chance to fall in love because he has been performing missions, so he has made great achievements this time and he probably wants to indulge." Aurora covered her head and felt a little dizzy. Ask her to go to Custom Street to find someone, which she can't do. She had heard that it was quite chaotic with poor people, rich people, and adventurers all there. Not everyone knows her. When Aurora went there, she might be talked to or even touched. This is a labyrinth city, and I'm afraid it's more than just what she heard. But should we change our goals? She thought Rand was the one most likely to convince, so she chose him first. Having strong people around you means you have confidence. When other saints see someone joining, they will think more about it. Michelle saw her hesitation. "It doesn't matter, princess. We just go directly to the Custom Street and wait for him to come out." Although there are two entrances there, the other entrance leads to the slums, and most people will not go there. "Just go and wait, won't it take a long time?" Michelle covered her mouth and smiled. Our conversation ended much earlier than expected. Lord Rand entered Custom Street about 20 minutes ago, and he is probably coming out soon. It only took a few minutes at most for the two of them to go there so quickly. Aurora didn't quite understand either, so she just listened to Michelle. They arrived there just in time to see Rand's leaving figure. I almost missed it. Aurora and the two successfully intercepted Rand. Rand was a little melancholy at this time. What was he doing here? Not to mention spending money, you still get nothing, leaving only an endless feeling of emptiness. It's better to go back to work and pay off the money you owe Ray. Just as he was thinking, he saw an unexpected figure. "Are you Her Royal Highness Princess Aurora?" "It's me." Aurora got straight to the point. "I think you should understand why I'm here, Mr. Rand. Can we talk?" Cold sweat broke out on Rand's determined face. It felt like I was caught by my superiors when I did something bad for the first time. If I had known earlier, I would have listened to that woman and stayed a little longer before leaving. But he has been sitting there for a while, and they have to continue to receive customers, so it is not good for others to sit with him. Rand replied, "Of course, but how did Her Royal Highness find me?" As soon as he asked the question, he regretted it. Aurora didn't want to arouse his resentment, so she replied truthfully, "My maid found out your location." Rand himself is a well-known figure, and there is no need to hide his whereabouts so he can find out quickly. He understood this and thought that the other party probably didn't know what he was doing, so he subconsciously lied. "Your Highness, I am here to perform a mission." After speaking, he used magic to control his expression and movements. Coming to Custom Street is not a big deal, but it ended so quickly it would be a bit embarrassing to spread the news. Aurora believed it immediately. After all, she had learned about Rand's resume in advance. Recently, with the help of others, he had captured the famous thief saint. He was indeed a very good person, she praised. "As expected of Mr. Rand, now that you are out, it means you have completed your mission. It is so fast that it is unbelievable." Rand's face darkened and he smiled and thanked the princess for the compliment, came to a restaurant. In order to show her sincerity, Aurora still recounted the request herself. To her surprise, I would like to be your power princess. Rand accepted the offer without hesitation. Is it so simple? Aurora had thought that the other party would be the best to persuade, but she didn't expect that she would succeed just by telling the matter once. Rand explained to her, "As a member of the security agency, I am originally loyal to the kingdom. You are deeply loved by the king and everyone knows this. His Majesty the King is sick now and you have stood up. Of course I will do my best to serve you." Aurora's eyes flashed with joy when she heard that Rand was so loyal. But with his attitude like this, why didn't he go to her immediately? Soon she learned the answer. Rand showed a wry smile. "I heard that you happened to be staying in the same hotel as Ray, and I thought that you had already investigated the other person and decided to ask him for help, so you didn't need my help." Ray. Aurora didn't expect to hear this unexpected name from his mouth. Rand noticed her surprise. "Didn't you stay in that hotel specifically because of Ray?" Aurora narrowed her golden eyes. She only lived there because she didn't have much money and Chloe, the waitress, was very enthusiastic. Michelle found out that Ray was very powerful. After all, it was just what ordinary people said. But when Rand mentioned it, it was completely different. Aurora asked seriously, "Who is that Ray?" Hearing what she said, Rand realized that he had been wrong. He originally thought that Her Royal Highness the Princess had already made preparations before coming here. Otherwise, take an ordinary person deep into the 56th floor of the dungeon and hunt special monsters. Even if there are 10 holy levels, there is no guarantee of success. Thinking of this, Rand said tactfully, "Ray, although he is only a high-level magician, he must not be underestimated. Since your highness lives so close to him, you should find a way to convince him. I don't know his origin. He just appeared out of nowhere and joined the dungeon raiding team. As long as you give him enough money, he is still very talkative." Rand paid more than the bounty in exchange for the thief saint. He felt that this deal was quite a bargain and he was secretly grateful to Ray. Aurora asked curiously, "Does he really have saint-level strength? That young man is really powerful, but he can't get what he needs." Aurora didn't care but arranged and said, "3 people a day, the results are not bad. You should have made a reservation with the Adventurers Guild. With their help, the number of people will not be a problem at all. They also have a prerequisite, that is, when the number of people reaches the target, they will send out their own saint-level experts." "Yeah, but I only made an appointment with Vice President Rionur." The president of the Adventurers Guild excused himself by saying that he had something to do, but he didn't want to contribute. Slaves, women. Among the nobles, she should be able to get assistance from 2 to 3 nobles, but she only needs to promise more benefits. Emily was among them and she was completely at ease. Unexpectedly, Ray is more powerful than she thought. Rand smiled heartily. "Let's not talk about that for now. Your Highness, I wish you can achieve your wish." Michelle helped to correct the injustice. That was the legendary level and she was not qualified to transfer. But so what, she didn't have to ask him for help. This way the two of them have nothing to talk about. Aurora asked with a glimmer of hope, "Mr. Rand, in your opinion, how can we get Ray's help?" Thinking about it, she saw Ray and his group who were also coming back from outside. Aurora confirmed the answer in her heart. Ray really wanted to take action against her. "All those people want is profit," Michelle pouted. "It's genuine and I think he will be even stronger." If she guessed correctly, a high-level magician with saint-level strength, this is what Ray originally meant when he said he was a saint-level magician. No, there seems to be something else. Aurora never thought of letting Galt take action. After receiving a positive answer, Aurora pondered slightly. Sure enough. Just as Aurora thought, it wasn't until she was willing to promise enough reward in her own name that she got the support of 2 saints. Rand thought for a while, only to think of the memory of Ray asking him for payment. The women around him are all wearing maid uniforms. Rand looked at Aurora, hesitated, and then said, "Money and women." With the help of a saint who had considerable say, Aurora continued to visit several viscounts and Earl Moore. Aurora was a little disappointed. She didn't go up to talk to him but went back to the room directly. By the way, he brought many slave women with him. Well, these nobles are so cunning, they are not willing to take any risks, they only want to gain benefits, some even want to be promoted to a noble title. Aurora said goodbye to Rand, "Mr. Rand, even if the thing is done, I won't be able to reward you immediately, but as the first helper you will definitely get a satisfactory reward." If the president was willing to take action, there would be so many things happening in the hotel room. Previously, Ray promised to buy maid uniforms to Moni and Pisana. Because the styles sold in clothing stores were too old-fashioned, Ray specially customized a few sets. "We are going to get it back together today. Maybe you are interested in this special maid uniform with a short and medium skirt paired with gloves, stockings, leg rings, and a headdress. Everyone wore this novel costume and returned to the hotel, attracting a lot of attention along the way. Well, brother Ray, what's up? Lettuce, who was wearing a maid uniform without any wrinkles, looked at the various styles of stockings and asked Ray. Well, each of us has 5 sets of clothing, but why are there so many different stockings? Ray said matter-of-factly, I only remember these styles of clothes, but I happen to remember more types of stockings. You can't wear the same ones all the time. You can wear different styles with different stockings. The two were talking, and Angelica, who didn't understand the difference at all, asked curiously, These are socks. Aren't they different in color and size? What's the difference? It's completely different. In order for her to completely understand the differences, Ray patiently explained them to her one by one. He picked up one of the ones that was only long enough to cover the calf and said, These are lace mid-calf socks. Pick up the other one. These are long black and white school socks that go above the knee. Then, bow-tie pantyhose, white silk ribbons, extended knee-high socks. As he spoke, he nodded with satisfaction. It seems that my memory is pretty good and I can come up with the answer almost without thinking. Huh, isn't it a bit quiet? Ray looked up and found that the women beside him had expressions of hesitation. He looked at Angelica, her eyes were confused. Looking at Letty's, she actually took a few steps back. Tilu nodded thoughtfully as if remembering something. That's probably it. The atmosphere was a little awkward and Emily came out after changing her clothes. A wide headscarf and a loose, long-sleeved black dress that reaches to her ankles are the orthodox nun uniforms. Emily's appearance itself is of a cold type, but under the background of her clothes she becomes dignified and dissolute. Debauchery. That's actually because there is a deep slit on the side of the garment. Every time Emily opened her legs, a touch of white would be revealed. It was the white silk romper with ribbons that Ray had introduced. In fact, Ray also customized leg straps that can be strapped to his legs and equipped with weapons. Since she didn't see it, it meant that Emily was not equipped. As for the white top, it seemed like I could vaguely see something, but actually I couldn't see anything. Because this was originally a tailor-made garment for Emily, this ambiguity was reflected perfectly. What kind of nun uniform is this? It's too shameful. Emily's red eyes were moist and her lips were trembling slightly. Tilu took a closer look and said, It turns out that it is worthy of the clothes designed by the master. Lettuce, who had a blushing face, just looked at Ray and took a few steps back. Her clothes are quite normal. Are other people's clothes like this? You can secretly customize a few pieces. Just curious, she has never worn such clothes before. Ray tried to explain, This is just indoor clothing. If you wear it indoors, wouldn't it be the same as pajamas? Emily's breathing was a little rapid. My pajamas are not airtight this. My whole body is chilly. Although she said this, she did not change her clothes back. It seemed good to buy some clothes occasionally and Ray was satisfied. That night, he specifically asked Emily to discuss his feelings about the clothing. The day passed leisurely like this. Only by living a relaxed and moderate life can you maintain a good attitude. Can't sleep. Aurora sat up from the bed. Michelle was already asleep on the other bed, snoring weakly. Aurora felt a little irritated, not because of her companions, but because of Ray. Yes, because of Ray. When she talked with the nobles today, the process went smoothly, but there was always a doubt in her heart. That's what they all mentioned about Ray. Even among those picky nobles, Ray seems to be a very powerful person. No one said the specific situation, but they all mentioned asking Ray for help. However, he was eager to have more of such good things. Even if he was a little busier, it didn't matter. Not only is that boy's strength at the saint level, but his influence is probably stronger than that of an average saint. Rhaenyra explained. After the fairy lake was opened, the saint-level powerhouses basically got their own fairies. In order to raise them, they often go deep into the dungeons these days. You also know that a trip to the dungeon is a long way. Even if you are a saint level, a round trip will take at least several days and may take up to several months. The Adventurers Guild has gathered the largest number of powerful people, and many saint-level people are originally adventurers. I heard that he is also a member of the dungeon raiding team. If Rhaenyra is completely unwilling to help her, then she will be in trouble. Who is he? She could wait a few days. It doesn't matter. I know that the floor master has cleared the level 40 and the fairy lake has just been opened not long ago. I heard that the thief saint was recently captured and an adult dragon was killed. It seems that something big happened to Earl Moore's family. There is no saint level left and Labyrinth City has been really busy recently. But for several months, for such a long time, Wangdu still didn't know what would happen. Your Highness the Princess is here to borrow the saint-level combat power, right? Could he be doing something secretly to get her? All the things the princess mentioned were caused by a young man. Such an explanation was almost a polite rejection. Aurora frowned for a moment, then quickly relaxed. Rhaenyra smiled bitterly. Rhaenyra sighed, "To be honest, we are somewhat short of manpower here." Aurora murmured, "That's right." Aurora's mind was racing. Besides the Adventurers Guild, who else would help her because of her identity and promise? That level of trust makes one wonder if Rey saved their lives and respected him so much. Wow, princess, you have so many dark circles under your eyes. Such a coincidence, the Saint level has already formed a team to enter the dungeon. Actually, if there is someone willing to help you, things will be very simple. After that person solved it, they didn't care about anything. They were all dealing with the follow-up matters. With the abilities of the Adventurers Guild, of course they had already figured out what was going on. Aurora's face was a little ugly. At this time, Rhaenyra spoke. Rhaenyra waited for her to sit on the sofa like a gentleman before bowing and sitting down. "Your Highness, I'm sorry, there are a lot of things going on recently, so please wait." Michelle's cheerful look is enviable. This night, Aurora couldn't sleep. Aurora used cold water to wake herself up, then tidied herself up and went to see Rhaenyra. She also knew that it wasn't that Rhaenyra wanted to reject her, it was just because he had no choice. Aurora waved her hand gently. "Who?" As her mood rose and fell, Aurora showed hopeful eyes. Rhaenyra smiled slightly with relief. Although he didn't bring that young man out, he was the one who found him. "Your Highness, you may not know him. After all, he has just become an adventurer. He is just famous among some people in Labyrinth City. His name is Rey." Rhaenyra was very busy during this time. Of course, I didn't have time to know that Aurora and Rey lived in the same hotel, and I didn't pay close attention to the princess's current situation. I just know the reason why she came here. Rey. Aurora stood up immediately and exclaimed. The name that kept her awake all night was actually spoken by the Adventurer Vice Guild leader. Is this person really so powerful? Why does everyone she meets mention him? Realizing that she had lost her composure, Aurora slowly sat down. Rhaenyra looked at her. "Your Highness, do you and Rey know each other?" After Aurora sat down, her consciousness was a little dazed. "Is that Rey a high-level magician with saint-level strength?" "Yes, now that you already know each other, it's easier to talk." Rhaenyra felt that Rey was usually quite kind. Although his personality is a bit cold, the princess is not an annoying type. The two of them know each other well and their relationship will not be too bad. After a while, Rhaenyra noticed that the princess didn't speak. "It's not like the relationship is really bad, that's not the case. Your Highness, Princess, if you think he is difficult to talk to, just ask him for a price that satisfies him, and he will be easy to talk to." After Liner finished speaking, he suddenly remembered that the other party had no money now. But he was not loyal to the kingdom in the first place, and he would not lend her money or anything. That boy was never stingy. Let her figure it out on her own. Aurora's eyes were a little dazed. Not only is it money, but also a woman. Is he also easy to talk to? Hearing what she said, Rhaenyra was confused. Then he remembered that a new force composed of all women had recently emerged, and it seemed to be Rey's. That said, it's really possible. Unexpectedly, Her Royal Highness the Princess has already investigated, but she still failed. Could it be that he fell in love with the princess? Tusk, this guy is quite discerning and has some ideas. Rey isn't a bad person either, and he probably won't force anything, he just wants an opportunity to pursue it. The princess may not agree because of her face. He decided to help Rey. "You have to be tougher." Rhaenyra's eyes became cold and he said, "Your Highness, if this is the case, then there is nothing I can do about it. Please come back." Aurora was stunned for a moment. "We haven't even talked for a few words, and are you going to drive her away?" She has a very keen attitude towards people, and it's obvious that Rhaenyra no longer wants to help her. The other party only recommended one person, etc. Rey, that's right. Why did he recommend Rey to him? Could it be that the previous statement that all adventurers went to dungeons was also false? What if he has only one purpose from beginning to end? Aurora felt a chill down her spine, and she felt like someone was controlling everything. Just like her guest last night, Rey had indeed bribed the people in the Adventurers Guild, but she didn't expect that this person would be the vice president. That young man had long blocked her way. Think about it carefully. That name was mentioned by everyone she met and persuaded. By chance, how is that possible? I'm afraid Rey has known about her for a long time, set up a plan for her, and investigated the people she will contact. Everyone would tell her how powerful Rey was, making her want to ask him for help. Aurora clenched her fists. How did he do it? Use his existing strength and reputation plus inducement and bribery. Horrible, so terrible, that man. She took a deep breath and asked Rhaenyra seriously one last time. Vice President Rhaenyra, are you really unable to lend a saint-level expert? If you are willing, you can personally help and I will provide sufficient conditions. Rhaenyra's expression did not change. Your Highness, you have also heard that this time period is really inconvenient. Aurora narrowed her eyes. What if I go to Ray for help? Although he is a member of the raiding team, the guild will not restrict his actions. It is naturally your ability to invite him. After listening, Aurora sneered in her heart. It means that she can just ask Ray. There's no way to ask other people in the Adventurers Guild for help, right? After all, the other party didn't show off face to face. Aurora stood up and said, I understand, let's just say goodbye. After saying that, she walked out the door with a bad breath. Michelle, who was waiting at the door, saw her coming out so quickly. Done the deal. With the princess's perseverance, even if she is rejected, she will not come out so quickly. Besides, there is still hope for help here. No. The answer was completely different from what she thought. Aurora's eyes narrowed slightly. Michelle, help me find out when the level adventurers who belong to the guild entered the dungeon. A single A-level adventurer's whereabouts are not fixed. Not to mention it's not easy to find, it's a mixed bag wherever you go. As an unmarried princess, it was not convenient for her to have direct contact with those people, and she had never inquired about them before. Now that we know where they are going, let Michelle investigate, it will be much easier. She just wanted to get an answer, that is, whether Rhaenyra was completely bought by Ray. The result she got surprised her. Those people were from the dungeon 4 days ago and 6 people went there. Rhaenyra didn't lie. At this time, Michelle, who had just come back and went out again, brought another news. Those people are back, which means that the Adventurers Guild now has free saints. Princess, now that this servant is back, let's talk to the vice president again. Aurora's heart felt cold. No, there's no need to go. Would Rhaenyra know if he went down to the dungeon at the holy level and then returned? They are all just excuses. She had already determined in her heart that Ray and Rhaenyra were a team. When you see things meeting your expectations, you will only become more certain. Aurora thought about this person. The other party did put her in danger, but she would not give in. Michelle, who else is the new strong man in Labyrinth City, or someone from other forces? Michelle flipped through her little notebook. Well, let me take a look. By the way, there is a powerful force that suddenly appeared recently. It is said that there are also saint-level powerhouses, and they are also very powerful saint-level ones. They accept all kinds of tasks. Although it is a bit expensive, but occasionally do some charity. Aurora felt a little moved when she heard this. A very powerful saint-level person who seems to be kind enough to go and have a look. The two of them rushed to the base called Maduin. Beautiful girl team, referred to as Maduin. Rhaenyra looked at his subordinates with a strange expression. The A-level adventurer is back from the dungeon? That's right. He scratched his head. Now that the princess asked him to help, there was no reason to refuse. After all, the relationship between the Adventurers Guild and the king was pretty good. In order to maintain a good friendship, since the princess asked, he still tended to help. Before, it was just because I had no choice and a little bit of care. He was already prepared to agree as soon as the other party came, but he didn't know that Aurora had completely blacklisted him. The misunderstanding is still fermenting, in front of the huge and solemn building complex. Michelle swallowed. Just looking at the scale, if the princess had so much money, she wouldn't have to go to the door one by one to persuade the saints to help. And there are so many people. Aurora looked at the crowd of people crowded together and nodded. The population density of Labyrinth City is still higher than that of the royal capital, but it is not so crowded. There are so many people here, so it must have a good reputation. I just don't know if there is a chance to ask the saint-level people inside for help. It seems a little strange. Let me go and have a look. Michelle said this and squeezed in to find the girl in black uniform to confirm the situation. Aurora looked at the two orcs with a very surprised expression. Shouldn't they be slaves? Why are they dressed so well? The people around them didn't look dissatisfied when they looked at them but were in awe. After a while, Michelle ran back with a surprised expression. Princess, we are so lucky. It is said that an event is being held here. As long as you are lucky, you can even talk to the saint in person and the possibility of success is very high. What's going on? They said there is an event called Luck Draw. As long as we pay, we can have a chance to draw a lot. The grand prize is that we can interview with the saint without spending more than 1 copper coin. That's roughly speaking. Everyone who comes here can spend money to purchase lottery opportunities, and different amounts can qualify for different prizes. Spend 1 gold coin and you can participate in the draw for all prizes. The number of places to win prizes is limited. Each person can only participate once, and there is no limit on the number of participants. Winners of different awards will be announced one by one, and the rewards can be obtained on the same day. The highest award is the opportunity to talk to a saint. If the other party agrees, you can complete a commission for free. After listening to this, Aurora found it very interesting. The problem is, isn't this kind of thing easy to fake? Why do so many people believe it? Moreover, the more participants, the smaller the chance of winning. That won't happen. Michelle shook her head. It is said that the powerful people above senior magicians in this organization have their names on the dungeon raiding team, which is equivalent to the guarantee of the Adventurers Guild. There is integrity, and every task is completed by them. The commissions received were very high. She glanced at this huge building complex with longing in her eyes. Needless to say, their pay is also very good. It's really an ideal job. Aurora's eyes were wary. This girl doesn't want to change jobs. I really have no money to give her recently, and she is the only one around me. Fortunately, Michelle just sighed and returned to her usual casual expression after speaking. Princess, what are you going to do? Aurora thought for a moment. The things they put out are indeed very tempting. For many people, just talking to the saint level is very good, but we have to make the other party willing to take action. I want to know one thing. Even if there is a chance to talk, what if the other party refuses to agree? Wouldn't it be rejected with just one sentence? Don't worry, as long as there is a legitimate reason, there is a good chance. Hearing what she said, Aurora was thoughtful. This is indeed the case. Since this is an event organized by the other party, it will definitely show corresponding sincerity. If some people see the benefits, more people will join. Let's go sign up 2 gold coins. Aurora told the price with some pain. Now that they are here, it is natural to take advantage of the opportunity for both of them. It's just that this organization is too deceptive. There is no limit on the number of participants, but the number of rewards is actually limited. Only after they came out did they realize how difficult life was. The two of them spent more than a dozen gold coins casually handed over by the knight who helped escape. It's almost gone. Most people don't know that Aurora has come to this city, and she also uses charged magic tools to hide her conspicuous hair and eyes. With the help of the intermediate magician Michelle, Aurora walked through the terrifying crowd and arrived at the reception hall. There are obviously a lot less people here, and they are queuing up in an orderly manner. The first thing is to get the number plate, which takes a lot of time. Aurora's body is relatively delicate, and she can no longer bear it. Seeing the princess's shaky appearance, Michelle asked kindly, "Do you want to find a place to rest?" "Is there a place to rest?" Aurora's eyes suddenly glowed. Her eyes were a little dizzy, but she saw that everyone around her was standing. Following Michelle's line of sight, Aurora looked up. There are sofas, wine, and drinks on the second floor. In her eyes now, it is undoubtedly the same as heaven. But there was a row of words written on the railing. It costs 1 gold coin to go upstairs. Other food and drinks are extra. Evil devil, Aurora resented the person behind this organization. How can anyone have such a bad character? Even if the situation on the second floor is like this, don't let people below see it. It's too much. In Michelle's eyes, the princess looked away resolutely. I won't go. It's not that she doesn't want to go, it's that she really can't afford to go. Well, princess, I have never asked for help from anyone in my life. After Aurora finished speaking, Michelle said to her softly. The latter's eyes flashed, pretending to be pitiful. No. Before she could finish speaking, she was denied. Aurora is not stingy, but she must plan the money she wants to spend. Otherwise, what would it be like to go to someone to borrow money and owe someone a favor? Thinking about it, she felt a little aggrieved. Why would she come here to suffer and compete with others for a qualification? It was all that Guy who made her plan go into chaos. The people behind this organization are not good guys either. Crystal water swirled in her eyes, but she still held it back firmly. I was wrong, I was just joking. Seeing her like this, Michelle panicked and hurriedly admitted her mistake. Like she said, she just saw the princess like this for the first time. I found it interesting, so I spoke without thinking too much. It's okay, it's my problem, I will definitely get enough help. After Aurora said this, she hugged her friend's body. 2 beautiful girls hugged each other, attracting everyone to watch. Not long after, Aurora let go of her hand, in a bright office. Ray was holding a bill and lying on his side on the sofa. Well, that's good. My current income alone is already 10,000 gold coins. With the various VIP rooms and benefits set up in the reception hall, my income is also pretty good. Tilu put on a black uniform and looked a little cold. When she looked at Ray, she still showed a sweet smile. The owner has a good idea. He can wait for someone to deliver the money to his door without spending much time and manpower. What she said was completely true, and she was shocked inside. Ray has never cared about the development here in the past. Yesterday, he just had a free day with them, and he came up with a unique idea which he quickly put into practice, as expected of her master. Ray nodded. I feel like I can add something more. Let's put some food on the second floor of the reception hall that can spread the smell, like hot pot or something. Although Tilu didn't understand what hot pot was, she understood what he meant. Give the order quickly. Aurora was guided to a room. In front of him was a fox girl with a perfect reception smile. Please imbue these stones with magic. There are 3 white stones next to the fox girl. Each stone is connected to a spherical container. It was a simple magic device. It seems that as long as magic power is injected into it, the spherical container will rotate. The moment you stop, you will get a randomly drawn stone. When the results are announced, everyone will smash the stones corresponding to the awards. Stones contain special magic. When the magic power spreads, it will briefly surround the first person who touches the stone, forming a pillar of light. The results will then be transparent and also to show fairness. If you break the stone in advance, you will be disqualified, and even if you win the prize, it will be invalid. Aurora smiled bitterly. Nothing really goes well, even here makes her feel uncomfortable. I don't have magic power. That's it then, if you don't mind, I can complete the step of inputting magic power for you. The fox girl is very kind and makes people feel good about her. Aurora was secretly grateful, but she had given up hope. She gave up on herself and said, "Then I'll trouble you." Soon, Aurora left the room with these carefully decorated small stones. At this time you need to rely on the blessing of luck, Michelle said excitedly. Then she noticed that the princess's expression was very calm, and she seemed to not care about the result at all. "Princess, what happened? It's nothing, I just feel like what we do doesn't make much sense. Don't say that, all your good luck is gone." The two of them were talking and followed the crowd outside. Not long after, it was time to announce the results. The first is the first lottery draw. Michelle broke the stone in her hand and found nothing. She flicked her fingers and used magic power to help Aurora complete the steps. Just when she gave up hope, a purple light suddenly rose into the sky. "Wow, that's amazing. I won the second prize for the first time." Just as Michelle finished speaking, she saw a golden beam of light in the distance. That was the first prize winner. The first prize is a senior magician and the entrustment rights of 10 intermediate magicians, equivalent to a value of more than 100 gold coins. It doesn't sound like a lot, but the amount to participate in the first award is only 1 silver coin, which can be said to have increased more than 1,000 times. The second prize is the entrustment of 10 intermediate magicians, which is not bad. At least Aurora and the others have made back double the money they spent. I won the lottery. The man with the golden light on his body cheered for joy. He was just joining in the fun, but he didn't expect such a good thing to happen to him. He was a junior magician himself, and now he temporarily got a high-level magician to help him. It is said that the girls here are very strong, which is definitely very profitable. There will be 1 first prize, 3 second prizes, 10 third prizes, and 100 consolation prizes. Seeing that there are so many people who have received awards, there are still many people I know. The rest of the people were working hard and waiting for the next lottery draw. Some people just joined in the fun and couldn't help but get excited. Again. Michelle stared closely at the 2 remaining stones in her hand. Even if the princess wins, she can't lose. When she came back after signing the entrustment contract, Aurora sighed. "I didn't have much luck in the first place, but now I've used up a lot of it. With so many people, a second prize is considered very lucky." However, she is not at a loss, so be it. Things turned out exactly as she expected. The second lottery draw was held, and I watched the people next to me cheering. This time, a servant of a noble won the first prize and acquired the entrustment rights of 3 senior magicians. Of course, he has to hand over the reward, but the nobles will definitely give him enough reward. The number of winners changed, and the excitement continued to spread. The most last time. Michelle also got involved. She has never been hit once, so it's about time it happened, right? Aurora looked at the commotion around her calmly and spotted a figure in the distance. It wasn't exactly familiar, but she was definitely impressed in a way. "Ray, why is he here?" The young man stood slightly higher, his eyes unfocused. At this time, the last lottery draw finally came. "It's impossible anyway," Aurora thought as a purple light appeared around her. "Wow, I got the second prize too." Michelle was excited. At the same time, more beams of light appeared around them. If you look closely, there seems to be something wrong with the quantity. There are 3 first prizes, 10 second prizes, 30 third prizes, and 200 consolation prizes. Everyone was surprised by the unexpected amount and then started talking again. "Well, didn't you say there was a special prize this time? Why didn't you see it? Could it be in the first prize, but I can't tell the difference." The second prize was the entrustment of 20 intermediate magicians, and Michelle went to receive the award with a happy face. At this time, a girl with blue hair stood high up. An interview with a saint-level person, and even a chance to get a commission. The former alone is not something that ordinary people can think of. The looks from the princess and the people around her were not very friendly. Then, in front of everyone's attention, the boy smashed the stone with his power, which was not yet able to release his magic power. The man with glasses clenched the stone in his hand. As a result, nothing happened. It is said that the saint is still a beautiful girl. Still nothing happened. Tusk, I kept it on purpose. It's not like I have nothing. Each one is better than the other, so there won't be any special prizes. Winning the lottery made her feel very good, so she turned up the volume without hesitation. Many people looked at him with envy in their eyes. The crowd dispersed, and a strangely dressed young boy laughed maniacally with a stone in his hand. The crowd dispersed immediately, but there was no longer any expectation. He chuckled slightly and pushed up his glasses. Michelle looked at Aurora, a little embarrassed. She screamed a little loudly and everyone looked over. Fortunately, I waited for a while. I didn't expect it. She really forgot. Who is it that hasn't broken the stone yet? Come on, let's see the result. Michelle returned to Aurora with a smile on her face. The protagonists all appear last. Others also echoed. What? His left eye was covered with an eye patch, he was wearing a cool costume and he was holding the stone above his head. The next moment, everyone's hearts were lifted and they were looking forward to the result. My child, I have to say that you scared me, but I am still better. The special prize hasn't come out. Didn't someone break the stone in their hand? If the commission fails, it's good for your eyes and it's also bragging rights. In the silence, colorful brilliance reaches the sky. Ha ha ha. Michelle's face was full of pride, and then she saw the princess reaching out to her with a dark look on her face. She shattered the stone with her magic power. Someone else stood up, a gentle man with glasses. The cold voice spread to everyone's ears along with the magic power. Aurora's body was gently suspended in the colorful magic package. A vigorous flow of magic surged around her. So warm, she thought, powerful and warm magic. Although she couldn't tell the difference, she could still detect the extraordinary magic power. Immediately afterwards, the magic power gradually converged into her body. She actually felt the surge of magic power. Unfortunately, this feeling only existed for a moment before disappearing completely. This power is actually helping her absorb magic power. If it weren't for her curse, I would probably have received a lot of benefits. I didn't expect it would be me. When Aurora fell back to the ground, she saw everyone looking at her enviously, and Michelle opened her mouth stupidly. Perhaps this is her luck. Ray or anything else can't stop her from lifting the curse. Just as he was about to say something, the crowd made noise again and the sound started to get louder. Come on, that's the saint-level expert from Meduin. Such a coincidence, it seems that it is already prepared. Then as long as she gives a satisfactory reason, she can get this supposedly super holy level combat power. The group wearing black uniforms marched at an orderly pace. The noisy crowd fell silent in the stagnant atmosphere. Everyone took the initiative to get out of the way so that the group of girls could directly reach Aurora's location. Even though she is wearing the same clothes, the pink-haired girl standing at the front exudes an absolute sense of presence. The girl's pink eyes seemed to be shining with a deep light which made people shudder. Her sweet face. Why does it feel familiar? Aurora was trying to remember when Michelle woke her up. That saint-level powerhouse is so young. Don't you think he looks a lot like the girl who poured the magic liquid yesterday? Aurora's impression of Tilu was completely that of the maid beside Ray. After talking about it, I realized that they were actually the same person. But is she really a saint pouring magic fluid for Ray's goblins? If I remember correctly, he seemed to be called Master. Aurora couldn't help feeling cold. Could it be that the saint in Ray's room is actually her? How many strong men does Ray know? No, it doesn't have to be the same person. Then, she saw the pink-haired girl coming over look slightly moved. It was just a momentary change in expression. If she hadn't observed carefully, she would never have discovered it. She knows herself. Things seem to be getting worse and worse. The pink-haired girl had already walked up to her. A voice quietly reached her ears. You are Princess Aurora who met the master yesterday, right? Aurora's body swayed and she almost fell down. She began to tremble. Where to start? From where she started, she once again stepped into the game set by Ray. Aurora's brain was running rapidly and she figured out a lot of things in an instant. Why was she the one who won the special prize? Are you lucky enough to be better than the remaining thousands of people? This is impossible. Normally, she wouldn't think about it. I will only feel that it is my good luck. But the saint-level strongman of this organization is a member of Ray, which means something. It shows that this organization originally belonged to Ray, and this is Ray's territory. Going back to why she won the lottery, it can only be man-made. As for how to do it, she already figured it out. She couldn't use magic power herself, so the Foxman girl performed the lottery instead. Since it was replaced by the other party, could it still be random? That boy actually thought about this. The mind is thoughtful and the city is extremely deep. How many things did Ray do to get her? How did he induce himself to come here? Are you asking her to stand in line and suffer just to convince her? In this case, the result of the so-called interview with the holy level is very clear. Ray plans to let her see hope and then reject her harshly. His purpose was indeed achieved. Under the continuous difficulties and malicious designs, she was on the verge of breaking out. Aurora looked at the girl in front of her. I think we don't need to talk anymore. You know my purpose, what's the answer? Tilu found that the princess's state seemed not right, but she never expected that the other party had completely misunderstood her master. She always had only one answer. The master's decision is my decision. I should have talked to you originally, but the situation is a little different. You can talk to the master directly. What Turu means is that Aurora has won the special prize. Based on her understanding of the master, Ray might change her mind, so she asked her to talk to him again. Aurora didn't think so. She has confirmed time and time again that Ray is behind the scenes to make things difficult for her, in her opinion. Tilu said that he originally wanted to talk to her, but now he wants to talk to Ray. Meaning, for other people, Turu will talk seriously and will most likely agree, but for her she has to find Ray herself, only if his request is met. What else could that person ask for other than to get her? Ray allowed her to see the other party's powerful energy time and time again. The Security Bureau, the Noble Class, and the Adventurers Guild all have shadows of each other. He himself has considerable strength, and he even has saint-level experts under his command. Now this huge organization has allowed her to see the power of the other party's manpower, money, and appeal. She already had to admit it. Without Ray's consent, she really wouldn't be able to summon enough saint-level experts. There is no point in continuing to find other people. I don't know what other methods he has arranged. That would only make her collapse even more. Aurora gritted her teeth. Which one is more important, the continuation of the royal family or your own happiness? No need to think about it, she could compare it and already made her decision. That young man is despicable and a bad person, but it is undeniable that he is very talented and capable. Maybe if she just obeyed, it wouldn't be bad. At least you can avoid adding a terrifying enemy to the kingdom, she thought of Emily. With so many tricks at his disposal, it's no surprise that Ray can capture Emily. Everything is connected. Ray, I promise you that I will marry you, please lend me your power. Emily smiled slightly and said, it should have been like this a long time ago. You acted like nothing happened these 2 days and rested all day. The one-day shooting fee for a holy level is not much compared to the actual request that the girl pointed to. After all, he had no ill intentions towards her. He didn't expect that the other party was so lucky that he would be the only special prize. There are rest days at work, right? Besides, don't I help everyone train? As soon as Ray stood up and sat on the sofa, he saw the princess who had just entered rushing in front of him. Even if you are in love with me, it's too much. What's the point of marrying him? They only met twice so suddenly. Hearing what Emily said, Ray smiled with interest. This event attracted many rich people and their daily income exceeded 20,000 gold coins. It can be said to be a huge profit. Where is he? Okay, now that everything is like this, Tilu and I will go to the dungeon together. Aurora was a little sad. If only she hadn't been so smart, maybe she would have been carefree. Did he capture the other person's heart unknowingly? In order to build his reputation, he originally planned to agree to help as long as the request was a normal commission. In short, just like fate, Aurora got her share of luck. Everyone's eyes showed confusion. Ray is passionate about nurturing girls to grow in strength. Could it be that because she is a princess, she has something similar to a national luck bonus? Looking at the princess with reddish eyes in front of him, Ray fell into confusion. Everyone looked at Aurora with envy, but she had already made the sacrifice. Tilu finally said, follow me. With such a low profile, how can he negotiate terms? The problem is he only teaches close combat. He looked at Tilu, Emily, and even Michelle, who came in and looked at each other for a while, even if this person is Aurora. Now you should be able to help her, right? Because Aurora won the lottery, he himself was prepared to give it for free. Ray, who was standing there before, has disappeared. Is that called training? She looked at the pink-haired girl in front of her. The two were quarreling when the rabbit girl reminded them, Princess Aurora is here. Ray saw that something was wrong with her mood and planned to comfort her first. Just wait a moment. I can't wait any longer. I already promised to marry you. What, do you want me to swear an oath as a royal? Aurora gritted her teeth and held back her grievance. She will never cry in front of everyone. She cannot show her weak side until the curse is lifted. Ray asked her to sit down first. I don't need to swear, I'm just curious, Princess Aurora, why did you ask to marry me? Curious? Aurora felt angry for the first time. The person who was the mastermind actually said he was curious and pretended to be innocent. She saw other people waiting around with puzzled faces and seemed to understand something. Ray would definitely not admit it on the surface. After all, it would not sound good if he secretly caused the trip to be revealed. If he doesn't admit it, he can't identify it. Immediately, Aurora heard the next words again. The young man in front of me actually said that it was her request to marry him. It was as if she had to marry him. After receiving benefits, you still want to pretend that it has nothing to do with you. She laughed angrily. Ray, since you asked, I don't mind telling the truth. Why don't you let the others leave first? Aurora already calls him by his first name. Since the other person wants to hear it, tell him what he did one by one. But after all, she still needed the other party's help, so she made a proposal to let others avoid it. I don't want to completely fall out with him, but what surprised her was, Ray didn't panic at all but was very calm. Isn't it convenient for others to hear you? Yes, I'll let them leave first. Aurora's eyes turned cold after hearing this. At this point, I still have to pretend. Is it interesting? She said coldly. If you don't mind, you can let them stay. Ray raised his eyebrows. Why are there so many things? At one moment he said he was asking people to leave, and at another he said he would listen to him. At this time, he also discovered that Aurora had a strange attitude towards him. Of course I don't mind, just tell me. Aurora was shocked. Wasn't he afraid that his conspiracy would be heard and affect his relationship with Emily and others? Since Ray said so, don't blame her. Next, everyone learned from Aurora that Ray had planned countless strategies before she came. Just when she wanted to see a change appear on Ray's indifferent face. After listening to what she said, Ray nodded thoughtfully. Interesting, what's next? Aurora was extremely angry. How will I know next? Then you have to ask yourself. It turns out you are not talking about delusions. Ray said this as if he was really surprised. His expression did change, but it wasn't what she wanted to see. Michelle looked up at the sky, seemingly thinking about something seriously. Ray opened his mouth. Hey, don't talk nonsense. It's really easy for people to misunderstand. As soon as she finished speaking, Emily stood up. Indeed, I have felt that your character, Ray, is quite bad from the beginning. It is not entirely impossible that what Princess Aurora has experienced could have been done by you. Tilu nodded. The Master's thoughts are often unpredictable, but in terms of preferences, it's not surprising that he has fallen in love with Princess Aurora. Ray spread his hands and said, it really has nothing to do with me. Aurora felt bad in her heart when she saw that the people around Ray didn't speak up for him. At this time, I saw that the three people in front of me spoke very casually. It's like, just kidding. Then what happened next went completely in another direction. Emily looked at her seriously. Princess Aurora, although this kind of thing is very similar to his style, Ray will not do such a thing, I can guarantee you. Her trusting look was no different from that of the knight who once protected the princess. Aurora realized that she was wrong, and Emily seemed to have never changed. Tilu just glanced at her and said coldly, Master, there is no need to do such troublesome things. Aurora saw that she didn't want to explain too much. But the trust in her words was even better than Emily's before. Why is everyone siding with Ray? At the same time, Aurora herself was a little confused. Is it her fault? She asked unwillingly, you know Rand from the Security Bureau, the counts and viscounts of the nobles, right? Why did they all mention your name? It seems so. Aurora listened blankly. Isn't it important that I'm back? Princess, I saw that you said you didn't need to go and your expression was very strange. I thought it was a quarrel. He accepted. The saint thief caught by Rand was assisted by the Master. The lives of the nobles were also saved by the Master. After Ray nodded, Turu answered her question. Aurora's eyes widened. Ray was actually involved in catching the thief, she declared to Ray. She said she wanted to marry him, but he didn't care and dismissed her. Ray looked at her indifferently. Princess Aurora, it seems that everything is a misunderstanding. Let's just pretend it never happened. Regarding the commission, I accept it. Emily frowned and said, isn't that just pure luck? But the steps to input magic power were done by your people. Aurora was a little dumbfounded. Why didn't you tell me earlier? Her eyes were a little white and she could hardly tell what was real. There seems to be something broken in my heart. The embarrassment he had just committed seemed not worth mentioning to him, so he threw it aside casually. The matter of finding saint-level help has mostly been solved. Unforgivable, Tilu said coldly. People in the labyrinth city all come here to make money by entering the labyrinth. People without magic power are the only one who has an accident. Moreover, if you don't use such a magic device and let different people draw the lottery on their own, will it be easier to cheat? The misunderstanding was resolved and things went smoothly. Everything they said seems to be true. Aurora tilted her head, dark emotions welling up in her eyes. Michelle raised her hand in fear. Princess, it is said that the saints who entered the dungeon came back early. It is not surprising that the vice president did not get the news. Are all the designs just her delusions? Everything is going in a good direction. Then I won the lottery, what happened? But why is she so unwilling? Let that indifferent face make you fall in love with her whenever you see her. Aurora was speechless. The vice president of the Adventurers Guild asked me to ask you for help, but he said that he couldn't find the manpower at all. Something is twisted. What did he do to make so many nobles owe life-saving debts? But it's not over yet. As the princess of this country, she is the best successor to the royal family. I will definitely make you like me. Ray was really confused. Didn't you explain it clearly? Why did you change your mind again? Aurora had misunderstood before and said she wanted to marry him verbally, but actually she was not willing in her heart. What's going on now? Do you want to take revenge on him? If he likes to go back, it will be even right. Before he could think about it, Aurora reached out and took his arm. Why didn't you avoid it, you ask? Ray also thought that this might be the etiquette of the royal family. Of course you have to give face to the princess, right? A pair of delicate hands wrapped around his arms and pressed against him softly. Ray was fine, but Aurora blushed first. This was the first time she was so close to a man. It was a bit bold on impulse, but she had no intention of leaving. I mean what I say and I do what I say. Michelle cheered from the side. Wow, the princess directly launched a frontal offensive. Tilu's eyes were very unfriendly. The sense of oppression at the holy level made everyone except Ray break into a cold sweat. It's shameless to say that you want your master to fall in love with you. After all, Tilu restrained herself somewhat. Let Aurora open her mouth to speak. For the next time I stay in Labyrinth City, I will follow Ray, I have decided. Tilu's eyes flashed with blood. The qualification to follow the master is not something you can just say. If it's a matter of preference, I won't lose to anyone. Master, what do you think? I don't know where Tilu's point of contact was touched, which made her refuse to agree with Aurora. Ray looked both ways. No need to think about it, Turu must be the stronger one as a person with a special relationship. But the next moment, Aurora brought her face closer, planned to prove it with practical actions. Ray was so surprised that she forgot to react. No answer was given either. However, Aurora hesitated. She just wanted to close the distance but didn't know what to do next. Emily said directly, Princess Aurora, aren't we talking about business now? This reaction made Aurora come back to her senses and distance herself. At the same time, she seemed to have figured everything out and there was no doubt on her face. She smiled generously and said, Emily, he has already agreed and the business is over. That doesn't mean he can do whatever he wants. Do whatever you want. Hearing this, Ray shrank back, wondering if he was being targeted. Will he resist? However, it seems that as a princess, Aurora is still very innocent in some aspects. Now this is the limit of what she can do. Ray felt a little sorry. You can almost see his unyielding will. Tilu and Emily seemed to have some prejudice against him, and they had no chance to show it this time. Ray made an appointment to go see Galt that evening. The master seemed to want to teach him something. Aurora was determined to follow him and planned to follow him throughout the Labyrinth City. The time to go down to the dungeon is set for tomorrow, but in fact it won't take long. Ray didn't care, so he brought the master and servant to the Adventurers Guild. Are you looking for Vice President Rionur? After hearing what Aurora said, Ray replied, Liner, no, I'm here to see an old man. Old man, are you a saint? No. Aurora couldn't figure out anyone worthy of Ray finding him personally. But since it's not a holy level, it probably isn't that important. Sudden, Michelle said, Princess, do you feel that there are fewer and fewer people? Even at night, there will be a lot of people in the Adventurers Guild. This was indeed the case outside, but as they used Ray's identification to enter inside, they didn't see many people. Aurora and Michelle came here during the day and naturally discovered the obvious difference. However, Ray, who had never come in often, didn't know. The staff member who led the way smiled and said, Many people have something to do and have left. Ray felt a little strange but didn't see that the clerk was lying. He still paid a little attention, arriving in front of a huge building. Under Ray's legendary magic detection, he found that the building was covered with a huge amount of magic. Even stronger than him, he is a very powerful legendary magician. What's going on? He vaguely sensed something was wrong and secretly gathered his magic power. Don't you want to go in? The clerk asked, No, I won't go in. The staff member's expression changed slightly and he activated something. Ray didn't have time to react. The door suddenly opened and magic surged out. He looked at the figure rushing towards him in the magic power and subconsciously kicked out. Only then did he realize that the incoming magic power was not offensive, and it was Galt's figure that flew out. Standing outside, they saw Master Recognition Banquet written clearly inside. You're so cruel, kid. I was just worried that you would find it troublesome, so I tricked you into participating. Galt patted the dust on his body. Obviously nothing happened. Ray was secretly surprised. In that kick just now, apart from using no skills, he had almost no energy left. The legend seemed stronger than he thought. Since you know I'm afraid of trouble, why don't you just save it? At this time, he also understood the reason why the other party was looking for him. As soon as he was promoted to Saint level yesterday, he found someone to tell Galt. That was what was agreed before, that when he reaches the Saint level, he will become a disciple. This identity is much stronger than the identity of the dungeon raiders, mainly reflected in the difference in status. Although Galt didn't teach him anything, he was pretty good, especially the fact that he has a lot of wealth. Ray is not at a loss. Of course not. After Galt finished speaking, he saw there were other people around Ray. Even though his hair color and eye color were hidden, he still felt familiar. You are the princess of this country, right? Aurora had long been stunned. Old man. Who dares to call the president of the Adventurers Guild an old man? He is older, but he is a legend. Although there are legendary magicians in the royal city, there are no traces of them at all. This state represents the existence of strong national power. Everyone has a unique status. All over the world, there are legends of adventurer guilds, but only this one in Labyrinth City is particularly special and powerful. The person she originally thought she would never see was actually met by this opportunity. Ray seems to have a good relationship with Galt. How many people does he know? Aurora's shoulders trembled slightly. Yes, my name is Aurora Looney, and I am the third princess of the Looney Kingdom. Galt thought for a while. I remember that you wanted to borrow the power of the saint. Well, what is your relationship with Ray? Aurora didn't expect to be asked this question at all. She blushed slightly and then said without hesitation, we will become husband and wife in the future. Galt smiled when he heard this. Interesting, in that case I can lend you all the saint level of the Adventurers Guild. Aurora's eyes widened. It's so simple, it borrows power. She couldn't say anything and felt confused about the current situation. Ray interjected, no need, I agreed to her request and it will be resolved soon. Galt smiled and said, that's right, with you here we really don't need anyone else. When did you get promoted to the saint level? Just before I told you. What did you do to get promoted so quickly? It's nothing, I just saved the world. Galt ignored him and walked in front. Do one thing for me and I'll give you a treasure. Ray was helpless. No one believed him every time he told the truth, but something that even Galt calls a treasure is definitely not simple. He followed Aurora and the others. After taking a few steps, Aurora gently pulled his sleeve. The princess's face was a little numb. Are you a saint? Ray's face darkened. How untrustworthy I am, only now do I trust him. Walking in, there are many strong men and nobles inside. Behind Ray, watching him deal with countless guests, Michelle whispered to Aurora quietly, Princess, there are so many saints, I didn't expect you to be so far-sighted. You immediately took a fancy to Mr. Ray's ability. Aurora said she was still confused. The holy level she had been asking for actually lined up to find Ray with her own power. Ray looked annoyed. However, after hearing what Michelle said, she still replied, of course I mean it. I understand, if I can compete, I sincerely do so. Aurora didn't want to pay attention to her and looked at the crowd in the distance. I'm afraid most of the saint-level powerhouses in Labyrinth City are gathered here, right? As the city with the largest underground city, Labyrinth City still has a considerable number of strong people. There were probably more than 20 people present alone. Among the people who had just come to Ray to congratulate her were Rand and those nobles whom she had been looking for. Rand's attitude didn't change much, except that his smile became more honest. The changes in the nobility are obvious. Aurora looked indifferent when dealing with them. When they arrived at Ray's side, they brought the saints around them and smiled so enthusiastically that they didn't know how attentive they were. Those who had met Aurora naturally recognized her, and they all secretly admired her when they saw that she was really with Ray, talking about curses. Ray said he would take over and no one else needed to intervene. Aurora was quite puzzled. Why don't we need their help? The more people, the better. There is also a strength gap at the saint level, and it is particularly obvious. Ray said to her casually, bringing them with you is no different than bringing a few more of you. Aurora gave Ray a slightly angry look. Literally, she is the same as a saint, but obviously I am not praising her. I originally wanted to spend more time with Ray, but in the end his attitude didn't seem to change. The longer I follow Ray, the more strengths I discover. Could it be that she, the princess, is not worthy of him? Aurora bit her lower lip. If you think about it carefully, Emily's talent is exaggerated. Ray is a saint, so he has set the youngest record. The girl named Tilu is also very young. The growth rate of the two of them is basically monster level. To keep pace with them, you must at least have equal or above abilities. That would have to wait until she inherited the throne. Aurora had one more reason to become a queen. I just don't know when Ray will change his attitude towards her. Thinking of this, she slowly approached the young man in front of her. The surroundings suddenly became noisy. Not everyone recognizes Ray's identity. He is still just a young adventurer with few qualifications. Someone proposed to test Ray's strength, not through battle but through pure magic competition. President, don't you have an imitation of the Heaven's Crystal in your hand? Use that to prove your apprentice's ability. The so-called Heaven's Crystal refers to a natural pure crystal with all attributes. This crystal can carry and amplify all magic attributes. What's even more powerful is, it can absorb magic energy injected by different attributes and people at the same time. Even if countless people use it to construct magic at the same time, it will only activate the magic of the person who understands magic the most. But the power of that blow was the sum of the magic power of countless people. Even the attributes will be assimilated. Galt's imitation stone can carry the magic power of the Holy Realm without limit, but it cannot carry the magic power of higher realms. That person can bring up this point to make things difficult for Ray. Has he done enough homework? No, this person is basically with Galt. Whoever is dissatisfied, I will give you all the opportunity to challenge me. Each person only needs 1,000 gold coins. If everyone joins together, it will be enough to collect 20,000 gold coins. Galt's purpose is to lure out the half-demon spies hiding in the upper echelons. He didn't believe that the other party would miss this great opportunity. That is to say, Galt gave that half-demon such an opportunity. The young man glanced at everyone, focusing on those who were dissatisfied with him. No matter what, I will give this imitation to him. Ray also knew this and agreed to accompany him to continue acting. Yes, President, as your disciple, I am better than most people. Originally, he was afraid that it was a trap, but in the end, Ray even added restrictions. The hidden half-demon saint was thinking deeply. Crystal of the Sky is said to be a magic that can achieve transcendental sublimation. Dark magic is generally stronger than ordinary magic. I heard that a high-level magician can reach the saint level, but I don't know if that's true. When asked, Galt said, "Of course I believe in his strength, but it depends on his opinion." Only Galt was dumbfounded, so he deliberately used this opportunity to reasonably let the half-demon reveal his secret automatically. The only problem is that his own magic power is legendary. It is so powerful that it can seriously damage or even kill a legend if calculated intentionally or unintentionally. He did say to see Ray's opinion. It seems reasonable, but I don't know which saint it is, so I can only lock the range. Why are you still charged? Galt promised him that after the matter was over, if the magic power is enough and the magic power is strong enough, you can even use higher level magic. He also needs to copy his holy level magic power for his own use. He had to find a way to get people to actively raise 20,000 yuan. He has determined that someone has been leaking information about Labyrinth City. Ray said nonchalantly, "Loser, Master said it depends on my opinion. If you can't afford it, just shut up." People who question Ray's strength also think it's not bad if the winner makes money. Someone suggested that people who were suppressing dissatisfaction should reconcile. But haven't they already got the lines right? Why are you adding extra scenes to make extra money? As long as the half-demon is willing, he can use dark magic that absorbs other people's magic power. After hearing what he said, Ray stood up domineeringly. "If you can't come up with the money, wouldn't you miss a rare opportunity? So, which one of you wants to come first?" Ray walked to the center of the stage, stood next to the crystal of the sky, and looked at everyone. Galt has moved to Aurora's side, responsible for preventing unexpected situations. But what surprised Ray was that no one was willing to come forward. Could it be that they have to pay for it, which makes people worried? This was troublesome. Ray suddenly felt the approaching breath. A guild employee walked up to Galt and said something. Even without saying it, he could feel it. There are several powerful auras approaching. The door opened and several elderly people stood there. There are 5 holy levels, 4 of which are at the peak of the holy level. The remaining Ray still has some impression. He was the old man from Fairy Lake at that time. In other words, they are people from the capital of sages. "Galt, we came here as soon as we found out you were going to recruit a disciple." Hearing what the old man said, Galt was stunned for a moment. He didn't invite these people either. "You are so free and you are here to congratulate me." That's not right. Those people in the city of sages only think about studying magic all day long, so how can they pay attention to this? The old man glanced at Ray on the stage. "Nothing can be seen. There is indeed something extraordinary." He turned to Galt and said seriously, "Of course not, rather it's quite the opposite." It was also during the first 2 days that Galt was preparing for the banquet and planning. He only invited people from Labyrinth City. By chance, after the battle at Fairy Lake, John, who claims to be Ray's younger brother, has been using the identity of his grandfather Hank to inquire about the affairs of Labyrinth City and got this news. Ray will become Galth's disciple. While John was amazed, he told Hank the news. When Hank heard this, he started to pay attention to Ray again. A senior magician is comparable to a saint, not long after he himself became a saint. Saint level is a huge threshold, so Hank didn't pay much attention to it before. After all, even if Ray continues to be great, it will take at least more than 10 years to break through this hurdle. Unexpectedly, he successfully crossed over in just a few days. In addition, Ray is deeply loved by fairies, which shows that the magic compatibility is quite high. Wouldn't this be a good seed that can create magic, now that he has entered the ranks of the strong? What they want to do is not to recruit disciples, but to recruit them. Hank immediately reported the matter to the Sage Tower. The Sage Tower also attaches great importance to it, and it is these old people who are at the peak of the saint level who are sent here. The leader of the old man's name is Ma Li, and his position is 14th in the Sage Tower, equivalent to the prime minister of a country. Compared with Galt, it is only half lower. There are 3 major neutral forces in Greenland: Adventurers Guild, Sage Tower Church. They are respectively responsible for fighting monsters, systematic education of magic, and dissemination of knowledge. The influence of each is spread across countries and integrated into different countries. Marley came here this time just to recruit Ray into the Sage Tower. Galt's eyes were unkind. On the contrary, are you here to cause damage? Almost. Marley completely ignored Galt, who was present, and said directly to Ray, "Young man, would you like to join the Sage Tower? With your ability, as long as you pass the test, you will soon be able to obtain the status of pre-sequence." Marley's approach is purely poaching. Although the Adventurers Guild and the Sage Tower are both neutral forces, it doesn't matter whether you are serving the country or something else. But only one thing: after becoming an important figure in a force, you must not join other neutral forces. The corners of Galt's mouth twitched. Only those old diehards in the Sage Tower who have studied their brains out can do such an honest poaching. After all, their only purpose is to specialize in magic, and they don't care about anything else. Reasoning with them, force is of no use, but it makes no sense at all when they argue. It just so happens that there is cooperation between the major neutral forces. Generally, they don't make things big. Galt interrupted and said, "Ray has been my disciple a long time ago and you are already late." Marley didn't believe it at all. If he was originally your disciple, why are you holding an acquaintance party now? Besides, he just came out not long ago. How could he come from a long time ago? The time when Ray became an adventurer can be easily found out. Could I still lie to you? The banquet is just to make people believe in his identity. Since no one has confirmed his identity, that means he is not necessarily your disciple, right? Unexpectedly, he would be rejected without hesitation. Marley didn't react for a long time. He said he was the master, but he only gave Ray some gold coins. He only felt that the latter could not communicate. How can we be shaken by this little thing? Everyone looked at this scene with envy. Ray's current strength is entirely dependent on himself. Now they are fighting for the same person. He couldn't deny that the Sage Tower could bring Ray more strength growth. At the same time, I also had a more positive impression of him, so those so-called magic books had no appeal to him at all. Galt himself is not young, but he is still not as good as Marley. Ray basically relies on direct indoctrination to learn magic. There is no need to study specifically. Galt left the decision to Ray. Ray is so young, the improvement of his own magic level must be very tempting. Ray looked calm without any hesitation. Galt stood behind and smiled happily. "I've made my decision and I won't change it. If you want to participate in the magic competition, I welcome it. Forget about other things." At this time, Marley said, "No useful practical experience or magic skills are taught." He asked again, "Think about it, that is the Tower of Sages, a place where only geniuses have the opportunity to step into." He was really old to think that Ray would change his mind at the last moment. "Old man, are you going on stage to participate in a magic competition? As for the Sage Tower, I have no interest." Even if you accept him as a disciple, what can you teach him? The adventurer's fighting method is not as practical as our magic theory. If he joins the Sage Tower, he will be qualified to refer to the magic library. The things recorded there can benefit a lot from every magician. In the eyes of everyone, Ray chuckled. "Hear this." Hearing what he said, the others were in an uproar. "You also heard that in terms of magic, we can give you more things. How about joining the Sage Tower?" That young man must have had an indomitable will to grow up to this day. Whether it is the Sage Tower or Galt's disciples, they are things that ordinary people cannot access. Not to mention, it really made Galt a little ashamed. As long as the magic realm is reached, he can fully understand it. What nonsense. Seeing that he could not refute, Marley led the people towards Ray. People like Marley also admire Ray's attitude. However, he was still a little unwilling. For such a good seedling, entering the Sage Tower and exploring the mysteries of magic with them is the right path. It would be nice if he could change his mind. Wait, Ray seems to have mentioned the same word twice. Magic competition, what is that? He asked Ray, and this time he understood that it was a comparison of the understanding and construction of magic. He has also heard of such things as Crystal of Heaven. Well, isn't this a good opportunity, just enough for Ray to see how powerful they are? Thinking of this, Marley touched his beard. Boy, I'm participating in this competition. If you lose and you're convinced I don't want your money, I just want to reconsider the question you just asked. How about that? Looking at the smiling old man, Ray also smiled. Isn't the business coming now? No, 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 if you lose, I'll give you the money. My decision will not change. What Ray thought about was that it was basically impossible for him to lose to his peers. Even if there is an emergency, he still has an excuse to spend money, right? But other people who heard his words secretly improved their evaluation of him. The half-demon in the crowd was secretly worried. With the addition of a group of people, the success rate of his plan is higher. The problem is, if the first batch is to let people from the City of Sages come. What should I do if Ray has suffered so much that he doesn't want to continue? Those in the City of Sages couldn't even match his understanding of magic. It is estimated that they can only rely on the characteristics of dark magic to barely win. How can Ray win? Thinking of this, he found someone who was dissatisfied with Ray and had a conversation. In addition to his own plan, he revealed the possibility of Ray losing. After hearing this, the group decided to join forces. President, I have an objection. Seeing that Ray was about to compete with Hank, someone stood up. Galt frowned and said, you want to compete first, so why didn't you tell us before? I didn't have time before. This requires Ray's consent. After learning about the situation, Ray said, it's been agreed here, we can't jump in line, right? You can add more money. Well, in that case, I'll ask you for it. After receiving the agreement, Ray looked at the 4 saints who stood up. The gold coins they took out were 1,500 each and 1,000 for themselves. How about we do it together? Ray glanced at the 4 people in front of him casually and took out another 3,000 gold coins. Whoever wins can take away 10,000 gold coins. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. 10,000 gold coins is not a small amount. For Ray, it is necessary to win against everyone at the same time. If we separate, he may lose or win, or he may not lose. If we do it together, if he loses, he will suffer miserably. The 4 of them were already accomplices. After discussing it, they agreed that the money they earned could be equally divided. Under everyone's gaze, several people were injected with magic power at the same time. Geometric mantra patterns appear on the surface of the sky crystal, and magical light shines out. After a while, a large amount of water gushes out of thin air. The clear water turns into a fountain, and the water drops are crystal clear and look very beautiful. Water magic, whose is this? Has anyone won? No, not yet. The magic is not fully formed yet. They are still competing. As soon as he finished speaking, a chill spread out. With the sound of pa, 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 the fountain and the spilled water all turned into ice cubes and ice crystals. The water that was about to splash also turned into a wonderful ice flower pattern. This is someone's ice magic taking over. Wow, that's amazing. This ice magic definitely belongs to Lewin. People recognize the caster. Ice and thunder attributes are relatively rare. There happened to be one ice attribute saint on the stage. Buried by fire from heaven. A magician on the stage loudly announced the magic name. I saw the ice melting quickly, making a sizzling sound. The water surface boiled and turned into a large amount of steam rising to the sky. Crimson flames lingered high in the sky, bringing with them a burning sensation. Someone cheered. They all recognized it as a powerful attacking fire magic in the holy level. Even this trick has been used. It seems that he has begun to use his real skills on stage. But the fire didn't burn long before it was swallowed up by a huge waterspout. The violent blue tornado roared. Water and wind attribute fusion magic. Fortunately, Galt's magic shield protected the surroundings. The magic appeared one by one like a performance, and people also marveled in surprise. They could only tell who was doing it from the magical signature. I just feel like the competition is extremely fierce. Little did they know that Ray was just observing with interest just like them. He didn't even start. Wait for others to consume? Of course not. The magic uses the magic power injected by everyone. There is no problem of someone consuming too much magic power. As for mental consumption, they are saints, so continuing to fight is nothing. Ray was just studying this crystal of the sky and testing his magic recovery speed. According to his observation, the crystal of the sky is always in a state of activating magic. The stability and strength of magic determine which magic is used at the same time and how long it is maintained. When the magic stability is not strong enough, once the time is up, it will be easily replaced by other people's magic constructs. Ray thought for a while and didn't use magic. Instead, try to use skills to take the magic power back into your body. Since the magic power in the sky crystal can be used by everyone, it doesn't matter if he uses it to use his own skills right. Magic absorption, everyone just sees it. The water spout was split by lightning, the flames rekindled and burned everything. The frost comes back and buries everything, however, only in the blink of an eye. A vortex swallowed up all the magic and absorbed all the attacks with a destructive aura. After that, there is no more. The vortex disappeared without a trace and the magic did not appear again. This magic competition came to an abrupt end and seemed to have a result. People started making noises and were watching with great enthusiasm. Why did it end? The people on the stage remained motionless and just stopped delivering magic power. What's going on? Marley looked at Galt. From his understanding, in a magic competition, a certain kind of magic should have the absolute upper hand and never change. But why I can't see anything? The final magic is the vortex. Something feels wrong. Galt also didn't understand. This was the first time he encountered this situation. He looked at Ray on the stage. Could it be this kid's fault again? Galt's guess was correct. It was really Ray. In the eyes of people, the four saints groaned in unison. The weakest one even sat down directly on the ground. Only Ray has his hand on the sky crystal. The young man finally took back his hand, looking strange. He felt the magic growing in his body. The combat power value was directly increased by more than 800. He had a new idea. It seems I won. Ray accepted the money earned without ceremony. The hearts of the four saints were bleeding. So many gold coins are gone. In fact, they were still a little confused. It was fine before, each using their own methods to fight for control. Why was the connection with magic suddenly taken away? They don't even know how they lost. Ray knew what was going on. His magic absorption directly sucked away everyone's magic. The magic power injected into the crystal of heaven was converted into his own magic power. The conversion efficiency is very low, but there is a lot of magic power. Now there are only 4 saint-level ones. If all the saints present participated, Ray could not even imagine how much improvement it would bring to him. Seeing the results, people started talking. It ended suddenly. Could it be that he is taking action seriously now? He is worthy of being accepted as a disciple by the president. I'm afraid many of the rumors about Ray are true. Michelle was so shocked that her jaw dropped. Aurora also covered her lips, unable to look away at all. Princess, is this the disciple that the leader of the Adventurers Guild can take a fancy to? Even several saint-level disciples can't compare with him. Well, he said the gap between saint-level is huge. She could only say this because she couldn't understand the sudden changes at all. Today she insisted on following Ray here. Only then did I realize that he was still the most eye-catching one in a stage full of saints. Ray stood on the stage and said, "Now that it's over, let's continue quickly." Marley asked curiously, "Don't you need to replenish your magic power?" Ray's magical power is at its peak, and of course there is no need to recover. He refused. "It doesn't matter, I can continue." Just when Hank was about to take the stage, an old man took the lead. "Just switch to me, you may not win if you go." The old man at the peak of the saint level was telling the truth. Hank is still far away from the peak, but his magical attainments are definitely better than the average holy level peak. But he couldn't simply and quietly win over others. A new round of competition is about to begin. Everyone is looking forward to seeing how powerful this man from the City of Sages is and what methods Ray can use. What is unexpected is that this is a victory without any suspense. The old man is good at using fire magic, and the most powerful holy level flame was born in his summons. The flame giant seemed to be alive and roared at the sky. However, in the next moment, the giant was engulfed by another wave of hot flames. Ray also used fire magic to defeat the old man head-on. After it was over, he also absorbed the magic power back into his body. Maybe it was because the battle ended too quickly. Even if the opponent is at the peak of saint level, it only increases his combat power by more than 100. He defeated the people from the City of Sages with the same attributes. Could it be that we misunderstood and he didn't join the City of Sages because it was unnecessary? Constructing a holy level peak magic in a few seconds, this is the strong man in the City of Sages, but he was still beaten by Ray. The shock of this victory or defeat was even stronger than the previous one. The old man who lost was not only not discouraged but stared at Ray eagerly. You are indeed a suitable talent for us. Join the Sage Tower, that is your destination. The old man knew very well how much effort he had put into fire magic. He knows all the changes of holy fire magic. He did it through his own efforts. The composition of magic is simplified and the power of magic is enhanced. Even this was defeated by Ray. How well does this young man master magic? Being swallowed by fire magic with the same attribute shows that Ray definitely has a unique understanding of fire magic. The young man must have studied magic seriously like himself. Ray showed little interest. No, let's move on to the next one. He won so quickly that he didn't know if it would dampen the enthusiasm of others. What he didn't expect was that he couldn't understand the thinking of this group of people in the City of Sages. The old man who had just lost 1,000 gold coins to him took out enough gold coins again. I'll compete with you again, but unfortunately I don't have much money with me. Can you defeat me this time with other changes in fire magic? As soon as he finished speaking, other old people, Marley and Hank, all gathered around. Hey, you're done fighting, it's my turn. When it's your turn, it should be me first. Several highly respected saint-level experts were arguing in a group, eager to compete with Ray. They didn't think Ray would be very powerful before. I just feel that he has not grown up yet, so I plan to let him experience it through magic competition, attract him to join the Sage's Tower. But this time, Ray's own strength is obviously much higher than they expected. It seems that they can also learn a lot of things. Even if it is a little bit of progress, it is not something that money can buy. So they all want to seriously compete with Ray, or it would be more appropriate to ask for advice. Jank is no exception, his strength is the weakest. But this does not prevent him from learning from Ray, so he also wants to compete with him. To have such an understanding of magic, Ray may have done enough research on holy magic long before the senior magician. Hank felt that it was natural for the goblin to like Ray. It's a pity that he didn't find out earlier, but his grandson was very far-sighted and regarded Ray as his eldest brother. What do you know? Ray is a fire-attributed saint like me. I must be more useful. The old man who had competed with Ray once said with a glare. So, I am also a fire attribute, shouldn't it be my turn? Seeing them arguing, Hank intervened. It was our turn before, you guys fought first, so let me go first. But I found that they had dark faces. Ray adjusted her breathing. I heard a few old people studying magic getting louder and more exaggerated, and they even mentioned some breakthrough progress in magic. Stop. He almost forgot his original purpose and took the initiative to appease the emotions of several old people. In the last game, he and Marley's magic competition ended in a stalemate for a long time before the result was determined. Does he want to win against everyone at the same time? At first I just wiped away the sweat. Ray shook her head. Galt smiled broadly. Is it really that beneficial to have a competition with Ray? The opportunity finally came. Ray naturally accepted the challenge. He was also worried that he was no match for Ray. Judging from his appearance, there was no need to worry at all. They looked at the four saints in the previous scene. Why is he so generous? However, as the battle continued, he began to struggle. I want to feel my limits. For the final competition, please trouble all the saints who want to participate. Ray's eyes gradually turned fiery as if he was completely immersed in the competition. What's the benefit? They didn't know it. They lost inexplicably and lost a lot of money. Others couldn't help but wonder. People were shocked. Don't worry, come one by one. Marley said to him, that's it, Ray, we won't trouble you to continue. Now it's just a matter of competing for the order of the test, or do you have to pay? Everyone was speechless as they watched a few old men erupting with holy-level magic power. I was still fighting for people before. His combat power has only increased by about 2,000. Of course not, the real business hasn't started yet. He is learning through competition. Only the half-demon sneered secretly in his heart. It makes people feel that there is no reason for him to grow to this point. Of course it's because no matter how anxious these people are, Ray is still his disciple. This disciple satisfied him so much that from the moment he became the floor master, he continued to create things that surprised him. All the saints present came to the stage. Some people did not refuse his request because they knew Ray. Those who are dissatisfied with Ray think that Ray and those in the City of Sages have consumed a lot. Maybe they are lucky enough to win and get a good reputation. The rest of them did it because of the words of the old men in the City of Sages. They thought they might be able to learn something from the competition. Michelle grabbed the princess beside her. He wants to continue. He looked very strenuous before. Trust inexplicably emerged in Aurora's heart. She and Ray had known each other for a short time, but she didn't think the other person would do anything uncertain. He's going to win. Galt, who had been standing not far from the two of them, smiled. I don't know how this kid Ray managed to make Princess Aurora trust him so much, but Galt knew the answer. Ray couldn't stop it. If all saints participate, the amount of magic power input into the sky crystal will be extremely large. To master such a majestic magic power and use it to form a complete magic, that would require an overwhelming understanding of magic. Ray in his prime might be able to do this, but now that he has experienced about 10 games, his condition is already very difficult. How can you compete with others? Not to mention, the purpose of Galt is to lure people out. Even if Ray has the strength, he will let the half-demon take the lid. Once the dark magic envelopes everything, there will be no way to make a comeback. Therefore, the legend of Galt is still needed. Let's get started. Following Galt's words, all saints were injected with magic power. What is different from before is that the sky crystal exudes an extremely terrifying aura due to its vast magic power. It actually faintly shook the magic shield that Galt had casually arranged. That's just a fluctuation in magic power. This shows that with the combined efforts of everyone, the magic released through the crystal of the sky is very likely to truly reach the level of legend. The saints naturally noticed it and then concentrated on entering the competition. Ray felt this terrifying magical aura and swallowed quietly. I really want to absorb all the magic power now, and I will definitely get a huge improvement. This opportunity must not be passed up. As the competition progresses fiercely, everyone will continue to inject magic power. There is no rush. This time he took the lead in seizing control, attracting others to join. Among all the saint-level perceptions, an unusually fast and strong magic command was input into the crystal of the sky. When they realized this, they were all a little stunned. Forgetting to construct magic for a moment, he turned towards Ray's direction. So fast! This is the strength of this youngest saint. No wonder he can become the disciple of the guild leader, Tribulation of the Hell Thunder realm. Suddenly, countless electric snakes emerged from the air. They intertwined with each other, weaving a space full of purple thunder and lightning. Thorns of thunder spread everywhere, and purple-black thunder spheres continued to form. The smell of the air seemed to have become burnt, and the eyes turned into a thundering hell. It has thunder attribute, and it is obviously a self-created holy-level magic. The onlookers knew from the actions of the people on the stage that the caster was Ray. Their knowledge was refreshed again and again. Thunder attribute, how many attributes does he have that have reached the holy level? Does he want to win directly by using his big moves at once? Such a shocking scene makes people feel that Ray has absolute control. But this time, several old men from the Sage City have discovered a breakthrough, although the new magic will be annihilated by Ray's thunder in an instant. But I don't know if he was too tired, with about 30 saints frequently constructing magic. Ray's magic seems to be starting to fail. Marley laughed and the magic was completed. It's a pity. If you were at your peak, all of us would lose. The new magic that appeared was a tornado with astonishing power. The huge storm continued to spin strangely, branching out into countless whirlpools and fighting fiercely with the thunder. The dense whirlpool of wind competed with the scattered thunder and lightning. The space twisted and trembled in the collision. That extraordinary power is astonishing. Finally, the storm became the winner. But within a few seconds, the rock giant scattered the tornado. Under the influx of magic, it continues to grow huge. I saw a female magician looking surprised. She didn't even think of it herself. After Marley barely won, she immediately took the opportunity to take away everything. Before long, the rock was filled with a layer of frost, and then it was frozen into a huge ice cube. As for Ray, he looked like he was dying. Wait for the moment when there is a gap in the magic construction of the strongest people. No, I don't think so. As long as he takes advantage of that time to activate magic, no one can take control away from him. Michelle frowned as she listened to people's conversations. He is waiting for an opportunity. He hadn't laughed for long before the flames were drowned by the huge waves. It's impossible. Although it has the thunder attribute again, it's not the same as before. Aurora's eyes always stayed on one person. The eyes of the people in the audience flashed with splendor. An uncomfortable wave of magic power spread. Who has the upper hand now? Is it Ray? Ray is a saint, so it should not be difficult to just hide his condition. He is getting familiar with the majestic magic power in the sky crystal and has completed most of the construction of the most powerful dark magic. He really spends so much that he can't hide it and let people see it. When she thought this, a huge change occurred in the scene. This competition is much more interesting than a fight between two people. The magical creation is enveloped in flames. It shows that Ray is not sure of winning this match. He himself said he would break through the limits. He probably just wanted to see how far he could hold on and had no intention of winning. Darkness came quietly. When the dark magic took shape and gradually became stable, his plan was successful. Sure enough, it's not working anymore. He has competed so many times in a row. This was just Aurora's wish, but she felt like Ray did it on purpose. One of them seemed to have an insight into something. Just when I thought there was no suspense, control was constantly being fought over. That aura that makes people instinctively feel disgusted is dark magic. Didn't you notice that before I was betting on gold coins, but not this time? What does that mean? Princess, he seems to be losing. The blazing flame returns everything that constitutes magic to magic power and then becomes the fuel of the flames. Along with laughter, the red lotus fire surrounded everything. Just as the chill continued to spread, Rand suddenly laughed heartily on the stage. She couldn't figure it out. He is a half-demon saint. The saints on the stage were focused on building magic, but there was one person doing other things. Accompanied by a strange woo-woo sound, everyone's vision fell into darkness. Not long after, the crystal of heaven emitted an eerie light. That's something that shouldn't be here. That is dark magic. The darkness dissipated, and a dark mist that seemed to be formed by magic wrapped around the thunder and lightning formed by magic. This weird creeping mist has a certain stickiness on its surface. It swallows up the magic and strengthens itself while also spreading out to the surroundings as if it wants to swallow up everything. What is that? Is it dark magic? Why is there a demon among the saints on the stage? What does he want to do? The president's magic shield seems to have been corroded. The crowd was in disarray. Galt raised his hands as if resisting the mysterious mist. The people on stage found the man who caused all this. Hole, what do you want to do? A saint level scolded but still stood there. They are also connected to the crystal of heaven. If you pull your hand away, you will lose control of your magic power. The results are obvious. At the moment when the dark magic of the half-demon dominates the world. Once you withdraw, you will give up your magic power. They cannot stop and can only continue to fight for control. The faces of those who were most vying for power looked ugly. The other party had seized this opportunity. They were unable to compete for a short period of time, and other people's resistance was ineffective. As a result, the half-demon's magic grows endlessly. As for Ray, his face was calm as if he didn't care. This is because the demons used their combined magic power and also used super powerful dark magic. Isn't he worried that the other party will use magic to kill everyone present? Although even if he cared, in his current state, he couldn't stop things from continuing. What did the saints think of? They almost forgot that Galt was here. That was a legendary magician. Could there be any surprises? Thinking about it, the dark magic continues to expand. The saints were unsteady and were knocked away one by one. They were forcibly withdrawn from the competition. The saints couldn't do anything they wanted to do, and they couldn't break through the mysterious fog. So only Ray and the half-demon were left on the stage. Galt was a little dumbfounded. Why is Ray still insisting? Why doesn't he come out quickly? Isn't it because he is holding back and not killing the other party just because he doesn't want the attack to affect other people? No matter how strong Ray is, can he still make a comeback? The fluctuation of magic has reached the legendary level. With deliberate arithmetic and unintentional calculations, he can even kill ordinary legendary magicians. That's why the half-demon took action. It's a pity. Galt is also a particularly powerful being in the legendary level, so he dares to do this. He was thinking about whether to take action forcefully. To deal with the dark magic that has gathered such huge magical power, Galt must also use legendary magic. In that case, Ray inside will also be harmed. The strange mist turned into a giant palm and broke through the shield, slapping towards everyone. Galt stood in front. The huge impact spread, and under the horrified eyes of people, Galt was actually at a disadvantage. In fact, there is a reason for this. Galt is maintaining the completed legendary magic and has not activated it. When the mind is divided into two purposes, it is natural that it cannot use its full strength. People looked at Ray's figure on the stage. The magic in the sky crystal seems to be completely under the control of the half-demon race. Why can Ray still persist? The half-demon was also surprised by this. The plan succeeded, and the power of magic was stronger than he imagined. Even the leader of the Adventure Guild couldn't resist the powerful palm he tried. What's going on with Ray? Shouldn't he have mastery of all magic power? Originally, he wanted to deal with everyone at once. Forget it, this Ray is also a genius. Give him some face and kill him alone. A small wisp of the mist around the half-demon split out, trying to devour Ray. The speed was so fast that Ray clearly saw it. But it seemed that there was no time to escape, and his whole body was shrouded. People looked at this scene in disbelief. A large amount of magic power erupted from Galt's whole body. Aurora clenched her fists while Michelle beside her exclaimed. The half-demon noticed everyone's expressions and sneered. A dead genius is nothing, and neither of you can escape. Galt was extremely angry and was about to blast the half-demon clan into ashes, but suddenly discovered something. The mist faded and Ray patted his body casually. The villain dies because he talks too much, even though you don't seem to have said anything. The half-demon stared at him. That's legendary magic. Why are you still alive? Ray ignored him completely and continued talking to himself. He looked at everyone's unanimous expressions and nodded with satisfaction. Galt saw this and shouted, "Come out quickly." In order to avoid trouble, it's better to run away quickly, but Ray didn't care about that at all. There is only one other person here, Ray, who knows dark magic. Ray takes the crystal of heaven. Ray waited for the magic to be lifted and absorbed all the magic power. But you will die simply because of lack of strength. Lei remained motionless, letting the mist wrap around the two of them. But what shocked the half-demon was that the power that should have been completely under his control changed. Is this still a human being? Galt was a little sluggish. You got rid of him. Watching the mist dissipate, Ray stood intact, but the other person in front of him had lost his breath. While everyone was still in shock, no one asked how they did it. The magic of the half-demon has basically been completed, and it is still a magic that is comparable to the legendary level of power. What did you say? Galt couldn't help but yelled regardless of his face. Then master, once the matter is done, I will leave first. Isn't that dark magic? Why does this happen? Magic rioted, but it was beyond his control. Ray said calmly, well, I think it's just a saint level. There is really no need to ask the master to take action. I might as well solve it myself. After Ray built magic to regain control, he could also build magic with other attributes at the same time. How much the other party has hidden, this half-demon has no chance to know. Is it that easy? It turns out that he never took it seriously from beginning to end. When he realized this, he was pierced by the flames emerging from the darkness around him and collapsed to the ground helplessly. Even he himself has to deal with it seriously, which is not as easy as Ray said. The flames claimed his life. It was also dark magic, but it wasn't his. When the half-demon thought this way, he found something else emerging from the magic. People couldn't believe this scene. Anyway, I got the rewards and magic power. He called Aurora and Michelle and left the scene quickly. The half-demon waved his hand, and a large piece of strange mist enveloped him. Everyone else was fighting for it with all their strength, and the boy himself could easily change different attributes. Ray looked at his combat power value and was filled with joy. Combat power, 20,310, this value has more than doubled compared to before today. While his combat power has increased, his strength has also become significantly stronger. Coupled with the income of 14,000 gold coins and the Crystal of Heaven, it was a huge profit. Unfortunately, this Crystal of Heaven imitation can only hold holy-level magic power and is not suitable for him to use. It can be sold for a lot of money. The master gave it to him and he shouldn't mind if he sells it, right? Ray was in a good mood. Seeing Aurora lowering her head next to her, she took the initiative to ask, "What's wrong with you?" "Well, I always feel like this incident was a failure." "Event?" Ray had no idea what she was talking about. Aurora explained with a serious look. "Isn't it just through events that the male and female protagonists in the book increase their favorability? Similar to this, after conversations and successful completion of events, leaving memories will also increase the corresponding favorability. When the favorability reaches a certain level, something more intimate can be done." Speaking of the latter part, her face turned crimson. It seemed like he was remembering his previous failed move. Ray fell silent for a moment. What should he say? It sounds reasonable, but why did she understand it this way? Michelle explained on the sidelines. "Princess, she believes that everything has a solution, so she has always had her own unique understanding." Ray thought thoughtfully, what about the persecution paranoia? Maybe he has read too many books about fighting for power. That's not what happened. It was just a coincidence. Aurora hit Michelle on the head without mercy. "This follower is getting really rude." Ray asked, "So what failed in this incident?" Aurora replied, "I originally wanted to come out together to create events and spend time alone. However, what happened just now didn't involve me at all. I even participated in very few scenes. It's not bad. Then, has the favorability increased? Not really." Aurora looked at Ray without wavering and bit her lower lip, at least hesitate for a moment. "I thought he was trying to comfort me, but nothing changed at all." Ray was a little curious. "Aurora, we haven't known each other for a long time. According to you, there is no chance of increasing our favorability. Why do you want me to like you?" Aurora didn't expect him to ask so bluntly. Why? Because she was unwilling to be ignored. "I thought that I was being designed in every possible way just to get her, but it was all an illusion. So it's like trying to make up for it so that he can see himself." She felt that some kind of dark emotion was about to emerge, and that was to possess the person in front of her. The only thing that's certain is that I'm serious. Ray looked at her and Aurora looked back at him seriously. The two were looking at each other and suddenly noticed a face next to them. Michelle raised her little hand timidly. Am I a little redundant now? Aurora hit her on the head without hesitation. Don't show up if you know it's unnecessary. Return to the hotel. Tilu did not hesitate to isolate the two princesses. Ray pondered for a moment. That said, we plan to go to the dungeon together tomorrow. It seems like I need to take blood in advance today. Sure enough, in the evening, Tilu came and knocked on the door. When she releases her bloody nature, as she becomes familiar with Ray, her attitude will be somewhat different from her usual attitude. Owner. Seeing that Tilu's eyes were about to become blurred, Ray pulled her to sit on his lap. Wait a minute, I want to ask, why do you hate Aurora so much? Ray knows Turu quite well. She won't show too much emotion to irrelevant people. Aurora's performance is obvious disgust, that is disgust. The pink-haired girl in her arms puffed up her face slightly. Master, do you have to say it now? Bloodiness will drive her emotions, especially strengthening certain desires. Ask her about things she doesn't want to say at a time like this. The master is indeed what Emily said, sometimes he is very mean-spirited. Ray didn't think too much, he just had a simple question. Tilu narrowed her pink eyes and said bluntly, I hate Princess Aurora's attitude. Manner, she developed feelings for her master for some reason, but these feelings are not pure, so I can't agree with her. Was all Ray could think. Tyloo and Emily are both absolutely loyal, but Aurora has not become a special relationship person. He knew it through the system, but Tilu realized it by himself. Don't know how she did it. Tilu snuggled gently into Ray's arms and raised her face to smile at him. I regard my master as everything. This is my emotion and consciousness, but Princess Aurora has many concerns. Ray thought for a moment. This means that special relationship people only record people who think the same as Turu. For Emily, she is more important than the things she originally wanted to protect. Master, are you satisfied? Tilu exhaled a breath of hot breath and said softly. Okay, let's go to bed early. Nothing, let's go. Don't believe her, what do you mean? Although she is an ordinary person, she cannot speak to others. Very quickly, is it so easy to reach the holy level, get rewards and increase your strength at the same time? Ray breathed a sigh of relief and called Emily and Muse. Emily's strength has not improved for a long time. Aurora naturally couldn't understand. But when a senior magician reaches the holy level, he is really not much better than her. He has overcome his destiny, so what is there to worry about? As she spoke, Emily patted Ray. What's up? Muse is the pinnacle of advanced magicians. Her light gray hair still hangs down her head. Taking advantage of the opportunity to enter the dungeon this time, he decided to take them to fight a dozen floor masters. Ray took them to the entrance of the dungeon, and then saw the mysterious girl again. I want to ask you one thing, don't trust anyone in the dungeon, including me. As a result, of course, I can't really go to bed early. Aurora looked at the two more people than agreed and was a little puzzled, just slow for Ray. In fact, with the bonus of cultivation and sufficient resources and talents, she has grown very fast. If one is not enough, just get a few more. If possible, go to the elf forest to get more. Finally waiting for you. They will reach the holy level soon. Including you, what are you doing? Anyway, just don't cause any trouble. Although it was a bit extravagant, he decided to use the fruits of the world tree to directly enhance her strength. It just needs an opportunity. The next day, Ray glanced ahead and saw that the girl had disappeared. This time she seemed a little anxious. Ray seemed to notice the look in her eyes and explained casually. Her own strength has grown rapidly, even if she uses conventional means to break through to the holy level. Emily and Muse went to challenge the first 3 floor owners. Ray, Tyru, and Aurora are going to the 56th floor, so they just set out together. Ray cannot use the teleportation array to bring others with him. This creates a problem. He looked at Aurora, who seemed to understand something, and opened her hand to him with a smile. Of course, Aurora understands. She is just an ordinary person. Ray and others are all saints, and it is impossible to move forward at her speed. So having someone take her is the fastest way. You can also take this opportunity to increase your favorability. As she approached, her body suddenly floated into the air. I saw Tilu mentioning her with an indifferent expression. The other person was obviously smaller than her, but he seemed to be doing it effortlessly. The pink-haired girl was suspended in the air, looking at her calmly. Princess Aurora, there is no need to trouble the master with such a small matter. It's up to me to do it. Aurora's whole body was hanging down like a captured chicken, unable to resist at all. She looked at Ray, only to find that he suddenly took care of his sword. Helpless, she tried to think of an excuse. Look, you can't let Ray take action to clean up the weak monsters, right? It's not convenient for you to take me with you. It doesn't matter. Tilu didn't care at all and flew out with her. She has entered the dungeon many times these days and is more familiar with the routes than Ray. Two figures, one behind the other, quickly swept into the lower level of the dungeon. The monsters encountered along the way showed no resistance and were killed instantly without even seeing the enemy clearly. Even the holy level monsters on the 41st to 50-50 levels are like this. This is what Turu said, it doesn't matter. With a combat power rating of S, no matter how many people of the same level you have, they are just cannon fodder. Through the extra long spiral staircase, Ray and others entered the 51st floor. The information here is the same as the information Aurora has collected. It's an endless desert. It is said that starting from this level, the dungeon environment will be like a new small world, showing a different scene. There was still a rock ceiling overhead. The difference from before is that this time the ceiling is very high. Even if it is a saint-level person, it will take some time to fly up. Ray used magic power to wrap a layer of film on Aurora's body that would absorb magic power. Otherwise, the surrounding high temperature alone would not be something she could bear. It is a high temperature zone up to the 60th floor. There is no need to find a way through this level, just keep walking straight. The problem is, they were under the influence of high temperature and the attacks of holy monsters. How to stay on track. Ray walked into a sandstorm and his vision became a little gray. Feeling the dense monster aura, he drew out his divine sword and prepared to move forward quickly. Tyloo pulled Aurora into her arms and their bodies were completely close to each other. Hold on. What? Aurora looked at the face of the girl so close and felt a little nervous for some reason. She had long known that Tyloo was handsome, but looking so seriously at the flawless skin and standard pretty face. Only then did I realize that the other person's attraction was so great that even someone of the same gender as myself would be attracted to him. As soon as she asked the question, her vision became blurry, so she could only hug Tyloo's neck tightly. Two giant silkworm-like sandworms attacked from the left and right. Tyloo rushed over without slowing down at all. The sandworm that approached was beaten hard by Tyloo with his fists and then flew away with a huge wind blade. The body of the sandworm drew a corresponding trajectory and was thrown away with flesh and blood splashing out. But they are not dead yet. It seems that because the flesh is too thick, the damage caused by the attack is not deep. Seeing that new sandworms appeared in front of Tyloo, the sandworms behind them got up again and prepared to besiege. A golden light suddenly appeared, cutting the injured sandworm into two pieces. Ray bursts with magic from behind. Keep moving forward, don't worry about what's behind you. Yes. Tyloo suddenly accelerated and galloped forward. After moving forward for more than 10 minutes, they broke out of the sandstorm, reached the next level of stairs. Aurora reluctantly poked her head out of the pink-haired girl's arms. No, I'm going to vomit. She looked pale and looked like she was about to vomit. Tyloo distanced herself from her. Master, please stay away. I'm just a little dizzy and nauseous, but I didn't really vomit it out. Noticing that Ray was really standing a little further away, Aurora couldn't help shouting. This pair of master and servant is really too exaggerated. The two of them could easily kill the A-level monsters on the floor, even with her. Forget it, Ray has seen what he can do. But I didn't expect that Tyloo was also an extremely special existence. She really couldn't even think about taking away Ray's attention from such a guy. Not to mention increasing the favorability, it's not bad if it doesn't decrease. However, with the help of these two people, she felt that lifting the curse was not a problem at all. Seeing that Aurora was not feeling well, Ray kindly added a light attribute status reply to the magic film on her body. Maintains protective film and exerts spiritual magic through magic absorption. It can be regarded as some kind of perpetual motion machine. Aurora was a little moved when she saw Ray nodding with satisfaction. The boy said to Tyloo, I added a state recovery magic to her so that as long as she feels unwell, she will recover quickly and no more dizziness problems will occur. As expected of the master. A sweet smile appeared on Tyloo's little face and then she mentioned Aurora again. The pink-haired girl's magic power surged out from her body and she was obviously ready to continue sprinting. Aurora's eyes widened, no trace of gratitude left. Devil, both of you master and servant are absolutely demons. She actually thinks Tyloo is cute and Ray is considerate. How ridiculous. The princess's resistance was of course in vain. Ray and Turu quickened their pace and quickly broke through the floors. On the 56th floor, they seemed to have walked into magma. The surrounding temperature is as hot as a steamer. Ray was sweating a little and couldn't completely isolate himself from the high temperature. He turned his head and looked. Sweat dripped from Aurora's neck and disappeared among the towering peaks. Next to her, Tyloo had taken off her black uniform jacket, and the pure white clothes underneath became transparent due to sweat. The white snow under the clothes is looming, and the sweat gives off a bright luster. Her breathing was a little quick, and Ray couldn't help but think back to the night before. It seems that the surrounding high temperature can no longer be felt. This sight made Ray feel like he had arrived in some kind of pink space. Stop looking at it all the time, please find a way to lower the temperature. Aurora's face turned red. She was so hot that her consciousness was in a trance, and the status reply could not solve the problem. Toru rarely agreed with her point of view. Master, please use magic. It may be difficult for me to stay in fighting condition now. Then, she didn't forget to add something. If the master wants to see it after returning home, it would be good to recreate this state. Aurora was a little dumbfounded. Can you take a closer look at the environment? The current situation has no substantial impact on Ray and Tyloo, it's just hot. If this continues, she will really fall. But after she finished speaking, she didn't forget to add something. If you want to see it, I'll show it to you when I get back. Ray was a little tempted, well, just a little bit. He used ice magic to create tiny ice crystals and then used wind magic to blow out the breeze. In this way, the simple air conditioner covering the whole body is completed. Although Toru also has ice properties, she is not good at it and cannot maintain it in high temperatures. According to Aurora, she didn't know the location of that special monster. Just know that it will emerge from the magma. Ray and the others must explore this layer carefully. I thought there would be some trouble, but it turned out. Roar! A thick roar was heard and a long monster emerged from the magma. It opened its huge mouth and attacked Aurora, who was standing in the middle. Perhaps due to the influence of high temperature, Ray and Tyloo did not perceive its existence, but both reacted in a split second. Tyloo pulled out the bloody sword and protected Aurora. Ray turned and kicked sideways at an extraordinary speed, knocking the monster back with one kick. The monster was not weak in strength. It quickly adjusted in the air and plunged into the magma. It was a special monster that was not recorded. Tyloo stared slightly. Master, that seems to be a fire snake. The monster just now was covered in lava and attacked extremely quickly. It can also adjust quickly under Ray's kick, which shows that its defense power is also good. It's that guy. It's similar to what Father described. Be careful that it can split. Aurora didn't see clearly, but she still caught the characteristics of the monster. Ray shook the divine sword and Liu and him responded to each other. Legendary magic power fluctuations spread out. Tyloo, keep an eye on Aurora, I'll go catch that guy. Go into the lava and catch it. Aurora's face was a little stiff. What she originally wanted was to consume the monster's power through enough saint-level experts. Ray can reach so many holy levels by himself. He actually wants to go into the magma. You know, the temperature just standing on the edge affects Tyloo. It would be even more unbearable for other saints, but Ray wanted to go in and fight. I see. Tyloo didn't waver at all. Ray dove in. Of course he won't take any chances. The temperature of the magma is isolated by magic, which is just a little hot water. As soon as he entered, he was attacked. The lava snake moves freely in the magma and its tail whips towards Ray like a whip. Ray raised his sword and slashed. I saw a large amount of golden light spread all over the magma. As the sword fell, countless golden lights cut off the magma. The lava fire snake's tail and a lot of flesh and blood were chopped off, and its whole body was twitching. Ray picked it up and was about to throw it to the land. To his surprise, magic groups containing super destructive power continued to gather. Ray had just retreated a short distance when he was swallowed up by the astonishing power of the explosion. He jumped out of the lava and his clothes were burned a lot. Master, are you okay? No, I'm fine, just a little weird. Ray looked at Aurora. Are you sure it will split? It seems different. Of course, Aurora was puzzled. What's the problem? When I was trying to capture it alive, it exploded without breaking apart. However, my father said that what he heard from his mother is that the body is hard, attacks are difficult to be effective, and it will split into many small ones. Ray frowned. How strong will it be after splitting? Aurora thought hard. It seems that the attack power is not as good as the saint level, and the magic with average defense power is difficult to break through, so it is very troublesome. That would be strange. Ray also thought that the one he just killed was the split body. However, the strength of that lava fire snake was definitely comparable to that of an ordinary holy level, and he couldn't tell the difference in its defensive power. After all, the holy level doesn't make much difference to him, and they can't withstand his sword blows. What happened if it blew itself up? Even if the dungeon can be restored, no monster will make such an attack. With the clue lost, they can only move on. Next, Ray and others encountered the same monster several times. Ray wants to capture it alive and use it to lift the curse. But every time the lava snake will choose to self-destruct. Finally, they came to a central island surrounded by magma. A red crystal stone floats over the island, exuding a strong aura of fire attribute magic power. Is it an undiscovered dungeon treasure? Master, that looks like an obvious trap. Ray is very interested while Turu is seriously considering it. In the end, Ray decided to get it. Even if it was a trap, it would not be any danger to him. Ray reached out and took down the red crystal stone. Tilu seemed to have thought of something. The appearance is the same, but what about the size? Surprise flashed in his eyes. This thing can help people understand fire attribute holy level magic. The self-destruction of more than 20 lava snakes set off huge waves of magic power, blowing up the surrounding area into a mess. However, the dungeon will repair itself and will return to its original state before long. The two looked at each other, and Tilu took Aurora back to the ground. I don't think I mentioned this, but aren't these monsters big enough? He pulled his hand back and a huge suction pulled the monster's body. There should be someone similar to the main body somewhere. Just as he was about to take it to Aurora. Aurora stared at this scene blankly before she could react. It's quite huge compared to humans. It has no intention of self-destruction. The lava snake is estimated to be 10 meters long and 1 meter thick. Ray split the incoming flames with his sword, while Telu was responsible for maiming them. Tilu is now a blood attribute holy level person, so perhaps she will have the opportunity to master one more magic with powerful attack power. But for monsters, it can only be considered too big. That is to say, Ray's conjecture should be correct. After taking away the crystal, the ground suddenly shattered automatically. Aurora, are you sure the monster you are looking for looks like this? As soon as the three of them were about to cross over, lava snakes rushed over from the magma. Ray. It must be like this unless there is something wrong with the father's description, but it won't be just like these guys, right? Aurora froze immediately. Ray used wind cannonballs to knock the monster away. Tilu didn't look sideways and took out another set of his master's clothes. The next moment, a lava snake bit into pieces the ground where they were standing. Ray and Turu jumped into the air. There were estimated to be more than 20, and they still encountered so many at the same time. Ray continues to create storms that strip it of its ability to resist. A bolt of aurora annihilated the magma on the corridor and engulfed Ray. He was pulled around and turned around. It is indeed not a big improvement for him, but it can give others insights. The three people landed on the central island. This one is twice as big. Could it be the one they are looking for? Aurora wanted to turn around to see the situation, but Tilu held her head down. What's wrong with him? You're not allowed to look. The words fell, followed by a rustling sound. Aurora was finally able to turn around and see Ray standing there intact. Something seems different. I always feel like there is reflection somewhere and the light is a bit dazzling. Wait, Bald, how are you? Not good. Ray looked stiff. Damn monster, actually carrying out a sneak attack. That monster definitely has a certain level of intelligence. He almost figured it out. The monster first used its split body to paralyze them, and then created a stronger one to make people misunderstand. Everything is just for the last attack. It was well planned and Ray actually fell into it. The problem is it gets the target's strength wrong. Ray used transformation in an instant and completely blocked the attack with his dragon scales. The only problem is the hair was not protected and burned away. He is bald, but his strength has not increased. Tilu looked at him seriously. Master, I don't mind what you become. Even if it looks strange, you are still my master. Aurora also reacted, me too, it's just that I'm bald. It's not a big deal. Ray's face darkened. He is neither disfigured nor disabled, so can he be said to be like this? The sword is unsheathed. Ray walked forward step by step. As he moved forward, the magic pressure on his body also increased dramatically. The attack just now even opened a big hole in the ceiling of the floor, proving that the monster is powerful. But that's not enough. Looking at Ray's shocking magic power, Tilu reminded, Master, don't forget to save its life. All right. Ray's figure immediately disappeared. Immediately afterwards, the magma was pushed away by two giant palms made of boulders. A monster several times larger than the previous lava snake appeared. The only thing different about it is that it has a ruby on its head. Seeing that it was exposed, it roared at Ray. Ray was not used to it at all. He raised his hand and saw a golden giant sword. The field of vision was gradually filled with golden light, leaving only a hint of color in one's eyes. The giant sword was like a divine punishment falling from the sky. The power of this blow was so powerful that it even made the scorching air around it scream. The huge lava snake only had time to open its mouth to condense the magic light cannon and shoot it out before its whole body was swallowed up by the overwhelming magic light. The destructive storm swept across, splashing magma everywhere. Aurora opened her mouth slightly. It was clear that the opponent was a super powerful monster that was much more powerful than the special monsters he knew. Why do I only think it is miserable? Even an ordinary person like her could see the difference in strength between the two sides intuitively. Ray is completely ravaging the opponent one-sidedly. She was stunned for a moment and then she remembered something. Ray, he should be careful to keep his hands on his hands. Tillu glanced at her. Are you doubting the master? The master will definitely pay attention probably. What is it probably? Aurora was a little dumbfounded, and then she noticed that Ray's whole body was shining with divine light as if he were a god. He still wants to continue. Two more giant swords like before appeared and they looked even bigger. Ray dropped it without hesitation. The terrifying power continues to fall on the magma sea. The ground under the magma was briefly exposed and the overall level was directly lowered. It's over. Aurora looked bitter. That poor monster probably won't even have ashes left, but what she didn't expect was. Ray clenched his fingers and pulled out a mass of bloody flesh. The thing was still squirming and it was actually alive. Ray landed next to the two of them and curled his lips. Do you think I am such a careless person? Of course I will not avenge myself publicly. After he finished speaking, he saw Aurora's disbelief and didn't care. I saw streaks of healing magic hitting the lava fire snake. Ray was a little helpless. The effect is so bad, then lift the curse quickly. It must be done quickly, it doesn't seem like it can live long. Aurora paused for a moment, then suddenly flew out. He took out a knife and cut his wrist. Her blood merged with the monster's blood. Using this fresh blood, a shining sword appeared behind Aurora. Wang Jian swung down and seemed to cut off something. She finally succeeded in lifting the curse. At the same time, the monster also died completely, turning into ashes and dissipating. Aurora let out a breath. Good luck, just enough time. Wisps of faint breath appeared in her body. Wang Jian, who represents the blood of the royal family, also established a connection with her. With the help of Ray and Tyloo, she succeeded. However, she was somewhat unable to thank Ray frankly. A little bit less time, she won't be able to lift the curse. Except this method. Only the world tree can ignore the rules and forcibly break the curse, or take the fruit of the world tree, which will have a better effect and increase the magic affinity. But such a precious thing, not even the king is qualified to use it. It is also impossible to enter the elf forest. How could she, an ordinary princess, get it? Speaking of which, the world tree fruits in the record seem to be somewhat similar to the 3 fruits that Ray gave Emily not long ago. She must have seen it wrong. Ray confirms the presence of magic within her. Princess, it seems that the matter has been resolved. Well, I'm going back to the capital too. Aurora was a little reluctant to give up. She didn't expect this trip to end so soon. Of course, it's a good thing that it's resolved. But this also means that she won't have much time in the future, not just far away from Ray. She also has to deal with affairs of the royal family and even the country. The responsibilities you bear are never easy. If possible, she hoped that these 2 days could be extended. Ray, will you be my knight? I don't want to. Indeed it is. Aurora puffed up her cheeks slightly. He still didn't hesitate at all, but Ray said this next. As for the royal capital, I might go there in the future. Really? Then let me help you next time. Aurora smiled. Has their relationship changed? Thinking like this, her body suddenly lost gravity. Ray was talking to Aurora when he saw the ground beneath her feet suddenly shattered. This is different from the central island just now, but a big hole suddenly opened in the floor. Of course, Aurora couldn't save herself and fell helplessly. Ray summons the magic around her. Activate the magic eye and use the magic block to switch places with Aurora. Aurora fell into her arms. This is his new use of skills after reaching the holy level and communicating with the magic power of heaven and earth. It can take effect instantly on Aurora, who is no different from ordinary people. Just as he was about to say something, the ground beneath his feet collapsed instantly. In the field of vision, Tyloo also fell. Ray wanted to fly but found that he couldn't do it. He could only activate the transfer and move the positions of the 3 people at the same time. Just as he landed, the ground beneath his feet suddenly collapsed, leaving no foothold at all. Tyloo fell down again. She looked here and stretched out her hand. Ray wanted to transfer her but found that transfer could not be done. Boundless darkness enveloped me. The outstretched hand did not grasp it. They fell with the collapsing floors, fell to nowhere. Everything you look at is green. After a moment of daze, Ray found himself lying on the grass. Aurora was lying on top of him, looking at him from above. The weather is clear and the sun is shining. The surrounding magic is quite abundant, making people feel somewhat comfortable. They seemed to be the only 2 people here. Their faces were so close that they could feel each other's breathing. Ray put on a serious expression. You are so heavy, can you get up? Aurora's face turned slightly red. She stood up and straightened her clothes. That's too fake, you're obviously a saint, so there's no way you feel heavy. Ray stood up and frowned at the sky. Floors collapsed. Is this a dungeon? But there is no sky in the underground city, let alone light. So this is outside they have transferred. His skills and strength have been restored now, but what happened before? Ray has actually heard of the floor collapse incident, but he doesn't think he will ban skills. Something always felt quite wrong. He replied casually to Aurora. Oh, I suddenly fell into a strange place. I want to relieve my tension. It's true that I'm not nervous anymore, but don't you think there are some things you shouldn't say casually? Aurora clenched her fists in front of his eyes and then said again, we seem to be separated from the girl named Tilu. It's not like it's like that, it's actually like that. Ray said and felt something with his magic power. Aurora was a little curious when she saw that his expression remained unchanged. Aren't you worried about her? She's fine. Ray looked at the panel. Tilu's status was excellent, which proved that there was no accident. The strange thing is that they fell together. The only one with him was Aurora, who was holding on, so were they really transferred? When they fell, they were neither injured nor saw any monsters. In short, you can't stay where you are. Aurora, standing behind him, had a complicated look in her eyes. Ray, why did you catch me and not Tilu? Ray glanced at her. Because if I don't catch you, you will fall and die. Besides, who knows that an accident will happen that I can't resist? When Ray and Tilu fell down, in order to maintain sufficient combat capability, he came out with one hand free. Tilu also has good combat power and can protect herself. But who knows that his power is suddenly blocked and he can't save himself at all. This resulted in him only having time to hold on to Aurora. After listening to Ray's explanation, Aurora lowered her head. If she had enough strength, would it be Turu who was caught by Ray? Being separated in a strange place represents a possible crisis. This made her feel a little guilty. Don't think too much. Ray slapped her on the forehead to wake up the princess. Let's go and find out what's going on here first. Well, it hurts. Seeing Aurora raise her head, Ray grabbed her and lifted her into the air. I just found a random direction and flew for a while. What you see in front of you is endless grassland. Nothing else could be seen, and there was no sign of monsters. Just when Ray felt like she was trapped in an endless space somewhere, there were bursts of messy magical energy in the distance. There's a fight ahead. There was a fight between a group of humans dressed somewhat like primitive people and wolf-shaped monsters. Humanity has lost many people. The few remaining survivors were roaring and resisting the monsters tenaciously. They won't be able to hold on much longer. Aurora couldn't see clearly. Ray, what are you doing there? There are humans being attacked by monsters. Then what should we do? Ray saw a human male holding a sword and a gun being knocked down. He fell down several times but persisted in getting up. A girl behind her raised her hand tremblingly to release the magic shield, but it was ruthlessly shattered by wind bombs. Save them first and ask for information. The magic power propelled the body forward quickly, arriving at the battlefield in an instant. When humans and monsters saw the two people falling from the sky, they were all wary. Immediately the girl reacted. Please save us and we will definitely repay you too. As soon as he finished speaking, the leader of the Wolf King howled and gave instructions to his companions. Attack? No, it's a retreat. The Wolf King seemed to realize that his opponent was not easy to mess with, so he escaped with his brothers. Ray was about to take action but stopped because of the Wolf King's gaze. It took a deep look at itself. There's definitely some emotion involved. This feeling was indescribably strange, and finally Ray let the monsters go. Hey, how can you let them go? A man yelled. The girl was confused for a moment and said, this is the grassland. Monsters believe in the evil god who kills everyone and try to destroy everything. Ray thought for a while, where is this place? Hearing what Aurora said, the girl tilted her head. So this is not a dungeon, there are actually humans here. As she said, there is only grassland here. The girl's eyes were a little excited. Could it be that you are people from outside? Well, the place we live in is called Grassland. What a straightforward name. She then noticed that Ray and Aurora were dressed differently. When his gaze swept over him, the man suddenly shrank. The girl who spoke to Ray and the two quickly stepped forward to smooth things over. Ray raised his eyebrows. Are you teaching me how to do things? What is a dungeon? Ray agreed to the request. The evil god is the god of monsters and the most evil existence. The human tribe established a tribe on the grass, and the girl's tribe numbered more than 1,000 people, like a small planet. There were more than a dozen people fallen around, plus the corpses of several monsters. Ah, by the way, to thank you for your help, please come to our tribe. We will definitely entertain you well. Ray continued to ask, what is the evil god? Humans can still barely resist the monsters without the evil god. As long as you keep walking in one direction, you will return to where you started. Benefactor, don't argue with him. He said this after seeing so many of his companions lose their lives. However, there are still monsters here. Ray and Aurora looked at each other. The grass was dyed red with blood and looked quite miserable. If you can see human tribes, you can always get more clues. The latter seems to leave it to him to make the decision. She was just curious, maybe thinking that it was something outside. Fortunately, the evil god was sealed a long time ago, quickly out of mind. From the girl's mouth, he roughly understood this place. Their idea is to survive on this land. The girl took the initiative to explain, those monsters are all apostles of the evil god, and they are constantly killing our companions, so we have a huge grudge against them. The girl's name is Yumi, and she is the daughter of the captain of the escort team. She ordered people to collect the body and take the person back on a mop. The monsters were cut into pieces as food. Along the way, Yumi stayed with Rei. He pestered the two of them to inquire about things in the outside world. As for why she calls Rei an outsider, Yumi said that it should be kept secret and could only be revealed with the permission of the clan leader. What, Aurora, are you a princess? You're so awesome. Perhaps because they were both women, the two quickly started chatting. Aurora coughed slightly. It's true that I am a princess, but it's useless at all. Someone still doesn't care about me at all. Yumi was a little curious. Is he a benefactor? He can fly. Is he a saint-level expert? To be honest, he scared us. Yeah, I was scared when I confirmed this. Rei noticed Aurora's gaze and ignored her. He kept thinking about the Wolf King. That gaze seemed to be trying to convey something. Is it my own illusion? After more than half an hour, they came to a place where dozens of huge tents were pitched. Someone saw them from far away. A group of strong men gathered around. Yumi, are you being attacked by monsters? Yumi looked a little ugly. Yes, I was targeted by a group of monsters on the way back. Fortunately, my benefactor and the others. After hearing what she said, people looked at Rei and Aurora. There were joyful smiles on their faces. Thank you for saving our companions. Little things, this is no small matter. We will try our best to entertain our guests in the best possible way. The men looked at Aurora. The clothes are clean and gorgeous and the person is beautiful. Some people couldn't help but be fascinated. Yumi said with a smile, the benefactor is a saint, so don't make other people's decisions. The men suddenly broke out in cold sweat. To be able to save Yumi and the others from the B-level Wolf King, Rei must not be weak. But I didn't expect it to be so exaggerated. Rei continued to follow Yumi into the tribe. The people here were quite enthusiastic. After learning about his strength and what he had done, they all came to express their gratitude. Finally, an old man appeared. He is the patriarch here. He looks very old, but his strength is at the holy level. Rei frowned. Only then did he realize that the people around him were extremely powerful. Yumi is an intermediate magician, but she is a member of the escort team after all. However, most of the people who gathered to welcome him were also intermediate magicians. There are a few advanced ones among them, and basically only children are below junior magicians. The patriarch took Rei and the two to a place where they could talk quietly. Guests from the outside world, you are welcome. Seeing Aurora leave the matter to him, Rei said, you are the leader of the clan, can you tell us about this place? What do you want to ask? Rei glanced at the clan leader. The old man kept a kind smile and could not see anything else. What's going on in this world? Seal, this is the world created by the goddess to seal the evil god. This is something Yumi mentioned. Goddess. Hearing Rei talk like this, the old man felt a little strange. You are outsiders, don't you know the existence of the goddess? The goddess is naturally the creator god who sealed the evil god. Ah, the evil god should be the beast of the end in your mouth. Rei was shocked in his heart that he actually referred to this evil god. Did that monster turn out to be the god of monsters? He looked at Aurora, who had the same reaction as him. Rei asked the question he had always been curious about, is this a dungeon? Dungeon? The old man shook his head. This is a space outside the underground city specifically used to seal the evil god. Then what's the way in here and the way out? The patriarch smiled and his wrinkles squeezed together. I don't know the way in, but I do know the way out. I just need a favor from you. Rei's eyelids twitched. Dare to say it so generously, I have the conditions to wait here. The patriarch looked sad, no one knows. The god who created us may still be there or he may disappear forever. The patriarch nodded. This is also to save the world and prevent the evil god from resurrecting. Don't worry, those who have not been cursed will be fine. The amount of knowledge was a bit overwhelming, so Rei rubbed his temples. The seal is getting weaker and weaker. Is that true? The races outside will become increasingly poor and weak, as the goddess said. It seems that the only way is to delay time. We are a clan with a mission, and we must ensure that the evil god's seal is intact. Once upon a time, the goddess left 2 keys, but due to an accident, one was snatched away by the evil god's apostles. I hope you can help us get it back. Here, I need you to get something. What about the goddess? Where has she gone? Tell me what's the matter. The ancestor of mankind and the king of monsters are both legendary levels. In order to seal the evil god, the goddess invoked the magic power of the world's origin, causing the world's magic power concentration to drop. However, this is also a necessary sacrifice for the survival of civilization. The patriarch looked bitter. We also want to take it, but the key has been infiltrated by the evil god's power. We have been cursed by the evil god and cannot touch things with the evil god's power. Ray curled his lips and said, if you have something to say, just say it. So you need me as an outsider? Ray sighed, tell me about the mission and I'll see if there's anything I can do. You agreed, you really showed up to help us. Once the matter is completed, you will be the hero who saves the world. That's right. The old man took a sip of water and then started talking. Why don't you get it back yourself and you want my help? Please, the strong men outside. The evil god seal is getting weaker and weaker. Your appearance may be to fight against the upcoming crisis. Please help us. When the time comes, I will send you away from here. After receiving Ray's confirmation, the patriarch's old face smiled. Okay. Ray always had a similar impression. Is it because of the progress of the dungeon? A black key, Ray drew this conclusion from his words. When the time comes, we will gather all the tribes to attack the monster group, and the ancestors will entangle the monster king. At that time, your task is to sneak in and bring back the key. What did the goddess say? The best accommodation and food were arranged for them. The patriarch looked at him in surprise. Ray might be able to fight them. The old man took a deep breath and bowed his head to Ray. He remembered. What? But since your mission is just to steal the key, let's do it. It's great that the patriarch values you so much. Yumi seemed to be sincerely happy and led Ray and others from the front. Inside a huge tent, several rooms were separated. This is our best room. It will only be used by the warriors who kill the most monsters. It's full of meat and fruit. You can choose it yourself. Aurora looked at it casually. Inside are furniture made of animal skins and grass, and some fresh fruits are placed on the table. Several rooms are similar, so there is nothing to decide. She hesitated. After all, this is a strange place, and the people around it are not familiar either, so I want to be in the same room with Ray as much as possible. She looked at Ray and saw the boy smiling gently at her. He smiled so warmly to himself. What's going on? Then she heard Ray say, I don't have to choose, let her choose, we can just share a room. Stay in one room? Aurora suspected that she had heard wrongly. Would Ray, who had nothing to say about himself, say such a thing? She rubbed her eyes, but Ray still had the same expression. You won't break your head, right? What did you say? Ray walked up to Aurora and gently held her waist. The two walked straight into the room closest to Aurora. She seemed to like this room, so we went in. You don't have to worry about us. Oh well. Yumi nodded blankly and watched the two people walk into the room intimately, just went in. The door was closed and locked by Ray in one go. Aurora raised her head and saw Ray's face right in front of her, so close that you can touch it if you get a little closer. She looked into Ray's eyes as if attracted. Although the bald head is a bit strange, it doesn't matter. She saw Ray reaching out his hand and touching her cheek. So tough, Aurora was a little nervous. Ray, isn't this time a little bad? She blushed with embarrassment, and the next moment she suffered a severe blow to her head. Ray looked at her speechlessly, his hand still raised above her head as if he was going to knock it down again. Are you a S***T? You know the time is bad and you still think wildly. Aurora was in pain, and then she noticed that her surroundings were wrapped in Ray's magic power. Recalling her reaction, she covered her head speechlessly, also thinking about it. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible for Ray to show that kind of attitude. When she came back to her senses, she also remembered the question she had always wanted to ask. Why didn't you ask the clan leader just now about Tilu? Ray said frankly, of course it's because I don't trust him. Don't trust. Well, no one can tell you all the information and things to be done without reservation as soon as they come up. But it sounds like there are no loopholes in what that person said. When Aurora heard this, she felt something was wrong. As soon as they arrived at the tribe, the leader called Ray a hero, said that he happened to be sent to help. If it were an ordinary person, it would probably be fine. Ray sighed, either he is hiding something or he has other intentions. In short, it's not a good thing. Then you agreed so quickly to stabilize him and give us a chance to leave. Ray confirmed her, in short, what we have to do remains the same. I am responsible for getting that thing back and using it to trade with the clan leader. To be on the safe side, we will try to stay together as much as possible while we are here. It sounds like there is nothing wrong with what the patriarch said. But everything about the information and the evil god was unilaterally said by him. Ray and Aurora didn't know anything, and they couldn't verify whether it was true or false. Of course, I can't believe it completely. However, the patriarch said so much. The center of it all is obviously the key. Regardless of whether the curse is true or not, it should be true that the patriarch and the others cannot get the key. Otherwise, Ray wouldn't have specifically asked him to help. Once you get the key, there should be a breakthrough. The divine sword inserted into Ray's waist suddenly glowed. Liu jumped out of it. On the way here, through communication, Ray already knew how to find Tilu. Liu can sense the location of other fairies. As long as Tilu releases the goblin, she can be found. Until then, all we can do is wait. As Ray was thinking about his plan, a small hand slipped into his palm. Aurora slowly came closer. He was thinking of making a few jokes when he suddenly noticed that the princess's body was trembling slightly. Well, she is just an ordinary person after all. Entering the 56th floor, which even saint-level people were afraid of, they encountered an unexpected accident. The reason why I can calm down is more because of the existence of the system. Everyone in the maze city spends thousands of gold coins every day. Even if he just waits and does nothing, Ray can quickly become stronger. It won't be long before he becomes a legend. I just hope that Tilu can also survive safely. The next day, the patriarch came to visit. After hearing the purpose, Ray asked, "Would you like me to meet that ancestor?" "Yes, you are a person who has received an important task." Ancestor said he hopes to have a chat with you. Okay. He had no reason to refuse. Even if I can't defeat myself now, I can still protect myself. Unless the floor collapsed again, he really couldn't resist. The only people who went were the saint-level patriarch, Ray and Aurora, so it didn't take long. They stopped at a small tent. Needless to say, Ray felt the extraordinary magic. The clan leader saluted respectfully in front of the tent. "Ancestor, people have brought it." An old voice came from inside. "I know he's different from us." A dry palm stretched out from inside. When Aurora was thinking about the strength of the other party, she suddenly smelled a familiar smell approaching. Ray stood in front of her calmly. The old voice laughed. "Little friend, we are all human beings. Why are we so vigilant? You are still worried that I will not succeed." Ray stood there without moving at all. "No, I just felt that someone was stronger than me, so I couldn't calm down." "That's interesting, little guy. I'm just half buried dead. I won't be better than you for much longer." After speaking, he spread his palms. A strong light floated out from his hand. This is the crystallization of the enlightenment of the legendary magic of light. "As a symbol of friendship, I give it to you." Golden light floated into Ray's hands. The surrounding magic seems to be moving with this crystal. "Okay." Ray accepted it unceremoniously. "Is there anything else?" "I'm so impatient. Okay, let's go. I have to stay alive for the battle ahead." The old voice became weaker and weaker and finally disappeared completely. That strong man seemed to be just a kind old man. Calling them here is just for the benefit. However, Ray never let down his guard because the aura is so restless that it cannot be stopped. There is definitely something wrong with that human ancestor. Back at the tribe, Ray told the tribe leader that he wanted to go out for a walk. Of course, the other party has no reason to refuse. The patriarch looked at the two of them with a smile. "The one you are most familiar with is Yumi. Do you need her to help lead the way?" Before Ray could say anything, Aurora took the initiative to approach. She smiled sweetly and said, "I want to see the scenery here. It may not be convenient for others." Yumi, who was just about to greet them, expressed her understanding after hearing this. "Our escort team will be hunting later. Do you want to come and take a look when you have time?" Ray hesitated for a moment. "In which direction? We will decide whether to go or not later." After seeing the direction Yumi pointed, Ray asked the clan leader, "Can I ask if you know the distribution of monsters so that we can avoid the location? You are a saint, and ordinary monsters can't do anything to you." The clan leader smiled bitterly but still took out an animal skin map. "Didn't you say there are legends? What if you accidentally encounter such a dangerous monster?" Ray explained while opening the map and taking a look. With this tribe as the center, the location of the monster gathering place is marked above. It seems quite far away. It might take several hours to fly there. Others are only some scattered monsters, similar to yesterday's pack of wolves and the ones the convoy will hunt. After getting the map, Ray seemed very happy with the patriarch's trust. "Thank you, let's leave first." He put one hand through Aurora's armpit and the other hand through the crook of her leg. In the princess's exclamation, she flew directly into the sky. Although there was a gathering place of monsters in the direction Ray flew to, it was very far away. It takes a long time to go back and forth. The two of them seemed to just want to go out and have fun, just like they said. After flying for a few minutes, Ray explored the surroundings and landed directly on the ground. "All right," put down by Ray. Aurora looked a little unhappy at his expression that quickly turned dull. "You change your attitude too quickly. Can't you just keep the same attitude towards me?" Without saying anything, she immediately chose to cooperate with Ray. As a result, even though this guy was ungrateful, his attitude towards her was still indifferent. Ray glanced at her and said, "It will be very tiring if you keep pretending." He actually said he was very tired. Aurora resisted the urge to put her fist into Ray's face and adjusted her breathing. "I'll mention that later. Did you suddenly want to come out? Did you have something to do? Also, did you find anything when you met the ancestor? I want to follow the escort team." As for that ancestor, I can only say that there must be something wrong. Premonitory perception, this skill has helped Ray many times. Its effect is to provide early warning of the existence of malicious intent. Specifically, the other party may attack him. And it only takes effect on people who can pose a threat to him. Ray took out the map again and confirmed his position and the place pointed by Yumi. Unfortunately, he originally wanted to find a group of monsters to investigate. "It seems that we can only find clues from hunting over there." Aurora asked curiously, "You said you were going out in front of Yumi. How did you know they were going to hunt?" Ray sighed and pointed at himself. "I am a saint, isn't this the answer?" Aurora blushed a little, feeling that she had asked an idiotic question. In fact, this is just because she has always been an ordinary person, and of course she cannot intuitively feel the power of a powerful magician. "Think about it carefully ever since I got off the dungeon." She played no role. Gathering information, questioning, and making decisions was all Ray's job. It seems that she is very useless as a princess. However, Aurora decided to maintain her status as a spoiled princess. She opened her arms to Ray, trying to accept the princess hug just like before. And Ray is naturally, he picked up Aurora as if he were picking up a little chicken. "Why is this happening? Don't you know how to read the atmosphere?" "Sorry, I don't understand." As they spoke, the aura of magic enveloped the two of them. Under the influence of transformation, they are like a piece of grass on the roadside, invisible to people. Wait for Ray and the others to arrive. All I saw was flat grassland. Several human corpses dyed the ground red, and several people holding weapons were surrounded by monsters. It seems to be in crisis. It was obviously hunting, so why did they become prey instead? Moreover, there is more than one of those monsters. Monsters of different sizes and types gathered together. Aurora was confused and wanted to see what Ray would do. But he saw the young man frowning, his eyes filled with some negative emotion. He didn't seem to be trying to help at all. The next moment she knew the reason. The monsters that gained the upper hand and defeated the enemy chased the remaining prey. However, while they were still chasing after each other, an explosion suddenly occurred under their feet. The compressed magic suddenly exploded, causing astonishing destructive power. That's because a magic trap has been set and someone detonated the magic. The monsters suffered heavy injuries in an instant. Their flesh and stumps were blown away, and few of them were able to stand. A little further away, the escort team that had been prepared came out together. That is the main force of the escort team. It doesn't take much effort to deal with these monsters that have been severely damaged. The only B-level monster was also killed by a senior magician of the same level. Under Aurora's disbelieving gaze, Yumi and the others achieved an overwhelming victory, and hundreds of monsters were slaughtered by them. The price is several dead companions. Why, there are obviously more of them than the monsters, but he watched helplessly as his companions were killed and chased. Aurora thought of an answer but couldn't believe it. Is that what the people who were so passionate about them did these 2 days? The victory or defeat here has been decided, and Ray takes Aurora to another place. The monsters living here are a tribe. There are young and strong ones, and naturally there are also young and old ones. The victory was established on the main battlefield, and the escort team then entered. A few strong young monsters were unable to resist the violence of numbers. As Yumi said before, this is a hunt. Ray suddenly looked somewhere. There a cloaked figure rode away on a giant wolf. A magic arrow pierced the wolf's leg. The giant wolf staggered and finally could only use all its strength to throw the person on it out. The petite figure struggled to get up and ran on the grassland. He seemed to have been injured, with blue-purple blood dripping on the ground. "Someone is chasing behind me." He ran up a small slope, slipped and rolled down. Humans and monsters together, that might bring some clues. Thinking this way, Ray appeared down the slope one step ahead of schedule. The figure that rolled down looked up. The cloak was lifted slightly. It was not human at all. It was a humanoid monster with pale skin and delicate limbs. Why do you say it's a monster? Because there is a magic stone embedded in his forehead. Ray will not admit it. It is the magic stone of the monster. This just blocks other people's view. He made a prompt decision and wrapped the humanoid monster with magic power to leave. Naturally, the people chasing him found nothing and lost their target. And in the blink of an eye, Ray crossed the space and came to another place. As soon as he let go of his hand, the monster ran away from him but accidentally fell to the ground. The cloak slipped completely off. Ray and Aurora both had a brief moment to look at the monster. He has short white hair and delicate skin like a newborn baby. If you look carefully, you can still find fragments similar to armor on his exposed neck. Gray eyes shed tears. He is crying. He was obviously the monster, but he looked at the two human beings whose bodies were trembling. It's as if the identity has been completely reversed. Even if it is facing a strong person, the monster should not show this appearance. Ray thought for a moment, then asked what he wanted to ask most. Well, are you a male or a female? Is this the important question now? Aurora complained dumbfoundedly. Faced with this incomprehensible state, what he actually cared about was gender. Moreover, even if this is a monster that looks like a humanoid, it's impossible to speak. Then it looks like he's a male. Ray sighed, the result of wandering between beautiful girls and beautiful boys that makes him doubt his gender. Basically, the latter is correct. He felt a little pity. Surprisingly, I still haven't encountered a monster girl from another world. Wait a minute, if there is such a monster, then a female one should also exist, right? It seemed that neither of them tried to hurt him, nor did they take out weapons. The monster lowered its guard a little. Male, male, he tried several times before finally spitting out the word. Ray and Aurora looked at each other. Can he really talk? However, it seems that he is just starting to learn now. Although it is surprising, it also means that they cannot obtain the information they want for the time being. Do we need to teach him how to speak first? Ray felt a little headache. So what should they do with the monsters they bring out? I want to find out the reason, but I can't get the information yet. It seems that we can only keep him first and we must hide it from others. Aurora hesitated for a while, then asked, just now in that battle, was there any reason why others didn't help? Ray paused for a moment. As you can see, they used their companions as bait to trick the monsters into stepping into the trap. Maybe. Aurora turned pale. She had indeed thought of it, and Ray's previous expression confirmed this. But they are of the same race, such a cruel thing. It would make sense if he died in battle. Is it really normal to use them as bait? Perhaps we can win with fewer losses. Ray said this. A healing spell was cast on the injured monster. Then, he returned to the human tribe with the monster and Aurora, who watched his body recover with wide eyes. In the past 2 days, he had been careful and placed a magic barrier in the room he left. There is no blocking effect. They can only tell if anyone has entered their room. It didn't happen before, so it shouldn't be a problem to hide this monster for a short time. Otherwise, there is no choice to put it elsewhere. He helps heal monsters' wounds and takes them away from people. The other party seemed to have some trust in them, but what people didn't expect is, after returning to the room and placing the monsters, Ray and Aurora pretended to return to the tribe. The alarm bell used to call the police in the tribe rang loudly. People were running around quickly. Monster, there is a monster mixed into the clan. How did you get in just now? Ray looked puzzled as he looked at the people who were picking up their weapons and searching around. Can this simple-looking tribe still detect the approach of monsters? Aurora looked the same as usual. In fact, the hand wrapped around his arm had quietly started writing, and his steps were a little faster. It was obvious that he was urging him to go back to his room and sort things out. But at this moment, they ran into the clan leader head-on. Two guests, something happened in our clan and it disturbed you. Ray's expression did not change. It's nothing, it can't be that legendary monster, and the other problems aren't big either. The patriarch looked anxious. You don't understand, that monster might be for. As he spoke, the clan leader realized something and suddenly fell silent. Then he continued, anyway, please, two guests, please cooperate with us. Next, we will search every corner of the tribe to prevent the monster's conspiracy from succeeding. Then come on. After Ray finished speaking, he planned to leave with Aurora. Of course, I was stopped. Two, I'm sorry, for the sake of safety, you have to stay within our sight for the time being. Ray showed obvious displeasure. You mean you suspect that the monster thing has something to do with us? Of course, that's not what I meant. The patriarch quickly objected. You are people that our ancestors have met and recognized. Of course, we will not doubt you. However, monsters may hurt you. After all, those guys are the people of the evil god, and they are different from ordinary monsters. There is a difference. What kind of difference? Facing Ray's questioning, the clan leader struggled and hesitated for a long time. Well, to tell you the truth, there are a group of intelligent monsters among the monsters. You may not believe it, but some of them can even talk like us. Ray's eyes widened. How is it possible that it can talk? Is it still a monster? The patriarch's mouth was full of hatred. Of course they are monsters, and they are the most hateful monsters. Having wisdom means that you can use strategies. You still remember the 2 keys I mentioned yesterday. You were deceived by them. So that's it. The patriarch lowered his posture. Now the 2 guests can understand our difficulties. I understand, of course I understand, but I also want to help. Do you mind if I accompany the searchers? Of course I don't mind. After talking to the clan leader, the two followed the team. Ray reached out and patted Aurora's palm away. Even though this guy was surprised, he actually grabbed him. His expression was not entirely fake but was caused by pain. What Ray is thinking now is whether what the patriarch said is true. Hearing what the clan leader said, the talking monster also had an explanation. According to what he said, intelligent monsters are indeed quite troublesome. But the problem is, Ray only felt fear from the monster he brought back. Is this the emotion a monster should have, or is it just a disguise? Ray thought of the demon sword master he once encountered. It said that it was the remnant soul of the beast of the end, and gradually gave birth to its own spiritual intelligence. If the evil god is the beast of the end, those monsters that give birth to wisdom are the ghosts of evil gods. This seems to make sense. Thinking about it, they had followed the searchers to the tent where their room was. The monster is inside. Aurora quickly winked while no one was paying attention, only to find that Ray didn't care at all. The two have been staying together, but she remembers that the monster is inside. Seeing that the door was about to be opened, Ray finally stepped forward. He stood in front of the door and placed one hand on the door. Just doing this will prevent the other party from taking action. The door was opened a crack. The man in charge of the search looked bitter. Guessed, all rooms must be checked. This is what must be done. Ray glanced inside. We were a little noisy yesterday and the room was very messy. Could you please let us tidy it up first? Aurora was stunned. The room is in a mess. Why doesn't she know about this? And what's the fuss about? She raised her head and saw Ray's ambiguous eyes. She instantly understood what he meant and her face turned red. That's what it means. How embarrassing that he said it so openly. No, they obviously didn't do anything. People also understood something from the expressions of the two people. The leader did not intend to give up. This is a rule. The clan leader should have told you. Ray had no choice but to sigh, then just watch. Aurora didn't expect him to give up so quickly. Could it be that he felt that what the clan leader said was reasonable and was preparing to let the monster be discovered? But that was what they brought back. Can you explain it? She thought about it and found that people had been in for a while. It seems that there is no movement. Aurora walked over and took a look, and her mouth suddenly opened wide. Is this still their room? When the two left, the neatly arranged furniture and supplies had become tattered. There were obvious finger marks everywhere in the room, as if someone had grabbed them out with force. As for the humanoid monster that should be here, there is no shadow at all. Ray said embarrassedly, I'm sorry for destroying your things. I will teach him a lesson. If I have to compensate, I will also find a way. Ray was talking about monsters, but all the others could think of was Aurora beside him. This makes people think. The two of them had a lot of fun and ruined the room like this. The blanket on the bed was still missing. No wonder I have to let people see it. After sending the others away, Ray used his magic eyes to transfer the monsters back. All he did was see the person or thing to be moved one step ahead. The monster reappeared in the room holding a blanket. He looked a little sad. It was something made from his companions. It seems that because he has emotions and feels angry, he causes destruction. Can you come up with a better excuse next time? Aurora understood what Ray had done, but thinking of the situation just now, I couldn't help but blush. She immediately said, if it's true, forget it, it's too much to be false. Ray changed the subject. For some reason, he will be found here and we have to get him out. Seeing that he was ignoring him, Aurora replied helplessly, I will listen to you. It seems that this princess is really just a vase. Ray had a headache. Tilu is always in good condition. The fact that she didn't use fairies meant that she wasn't fighting and was safe. This is a good thing, but it also means that he can't find anyone. Will it be discovered? The humanoid monster with its head lowered suddenly spoke. Ray was stunned for a moment, then reacted and asked him, can you understand what we said? Before, the other party had just started to learn to speak, but now he caught the key points of his words. Could it be that, as he thought, he had to teach from scratch? Can they actually complete the conversation? The humanoid monster nodded, I understand. Ray asked, can you tell me what you know? Matter. The two of them were listening intently. The result was, I don't know. It seems things are not that simple. Come to think of it, this monster couldn't speak at all at first. It's natural not to know anything. Perhaps what they are looking for is a monster that can talk. Those should be the things the clan leader mentioned. Ray was a little disappointed and was thinking about where to take this monster. You guys are different. Suddenly I got this sentence again. How is it different? Who does it compare to? Ray asked, seeing the humanoid monster holding the blanket and shaking as if it was afraid of something. Without waiting for an answer, Ray noticed the approaching aura and signaled not to make a sound. A barrier was directly set up on the monster's side. Benefactor, Sister Princess, I just came back and I heard that a monster has entered the clan. Are you okay? It's Yumi outside, Aurora replied. Of course it's okay. With someone's strength, ordinary monsters are completely fine. Then I'll be relieved. After Yumi said this, she asked again, is it convenient for you now? I want to go in and talk to you about today's events. Aurora suppressed the word off forcefully. We are, well, not wearing any clothes. It's not very convenient. Let's do it next time. The princess just finished her words with a blushing face. Ah, sorry to bother you. I did hear what they said. Yumi was a little panicked outside. Aurora learned from her words that the other party had also heard the previous excuse and bit her lower lip. Why are my excuses so unfair every time? Yumi is like a little sister and I don't know what kind of eyes I will show to her later. There was a sound outside again. Then I'll go first. Hey, why does it smell like a monster? Everything inside and outside the house suddenly became quiet. Not only because of Yumi's sudden words, but also because of her voice. The first few words are like the girl next door with a sweet voice. The following words were clearly questions, but their voices were dry and without any cadence. Aurora recovered, where is the smell of monsters? But this sentence received no reply. Ray noticed that the monster that was just shrinking began to tremble continuously. He took off his shirt, opened the door, and leaned out. It just so happened that the patriarch, who was a saint, arrived. Ray only saw Yumi looking dull. Then the girl was poured some bright red liquid and passed out. What a risk. The clan leader glanced at Ray apologetically. This kid is like this occasionally. Because something happened to the tribe, I almost missed it. What's going on? Before, her mother and brother were killed by monsters. Since then, when she comes back from hunting monsters, she sometimes becomes a little abnormal. I hope you don't mind. After saying that, seeing that Ray didn't ask any questions, the clan leader took Yumi away on the pretext that something happened. Ray closed the door. I just feel that there are more and more doubts about this place. The first thing to do is to send this monster away. Aurora, I'm going out for a while. You stay here to deal with emergencies. Hey, it's me. Do you think too highly of me? Suddenly hearing Ray say this, Aurora was stunned. She is an ordinary person and has no effect at all. If the clan leader and others came at this time, she would not be able to stop them at all. At this time, she saw a cloud of pink smoke flying from Ray's arm. The smoke condensed into the shape of a beautiful girl. Looks quite lovable. That's not the point. The point is the girl's racial characteristics. That was a powerful race that should have been extinct. Others may not know much about it, but as a princess, she has learned about this clan from ancient books. Aurora's face turned pale. Demons and also succubi, what's going on? Ray didn't explain and disappeared instantly with the monster. Only one sentence was left. Lilim, become me and stay here instead of me. Yes, master. The succubus girl nodded slightly and transformed into Ray the next moment. This is an application of charm. Lilim is a saint-level person with a combat power rating of S. She can easily charm people below the saint level. Even at the same level, they cannot completely resist this effect. Aurora looked at Lilim, who looked over calmly, her body trembling a little. Succubi, high-level demons. The threat was so great that other demons and various races joined forces to annihilate them. Not only is he powerful, his abilities are also extremely exaggerated. It is said that they can turn their enemies into allies. Her name is Master Ray. There are so many surprising things about that boy. However, what she cares about now is more. The Ray transformed by the succubus was staring at him. Demons are the public enemies of all races. Is Ray so relieved to let them stay together? She trusted Ray, but her fear of demons was deep-rooted. I couldn't suppress the shaking of my body. Aurora saw her moving in front of her. She smiled coyly with her Ray face. It was a bit novel, but Aurora reminded herself not to let down her guard, even though it was useless. The other person came towards her. Aurora's heart was pounding. Then, Ray fell down gorgeously in front of her eyes. Yes, I stepped on my left foot and fell on my right foot. There was a loud bang on the forehead, and it was in close contact with the ground. Well, messed up again. She covered her red forehead and stood up with tears in her eyes. I'm Sue Lilim, please give me some advice for a while. He also bit his tongue. I'm Aurora Looney, hello. The body no longer trembles and the mind becomes calm. Aurora was surprised to find out. The impression of fear she thought was not as strong as she thought. Ray transforms into a black dragon for the first time in a long time, increasing his speed to extreme flight. Although he still wanted to get more information from this humanoid monster, it seemed that he couldn't do it. He decided to mark the monster and then put it back in a random group of monsters. It would be great if you have a companion to look for you. I saw a group of dozens of sea level and below monsters in one place. Ray lands here. I originally thought that the humanoid monster would be a little surprised, but I saw horror on his face. Isn't that your companion? The monster shook his head hurriedly. No, companion. Ray was wondering, because they were not concealed, the monster discovered them. The next moment, they revealed their ferocious fangs. There seemed to be something different, and Ray was keenly aware that something was wrong. The humanoid monster next to him was so frightened that it fell to the ground. What happened? Those monsters looked normal, but too normal. The Wolf King he saw for the first time seemed different. The monsters approached, their eyes full of killing intent without any hesitation. Ray was about to take action when he suddenly noticed a breath. Saint level and a very powerful one. Stop it, you evil apostle. The fierce claw strike instantly reached the back of Ray's head, but just when the attack was about to land, the opponent quickly withdrew his magic power. The power has been reduced by half. Even so, the sound of breaking through the air is still harsh. The shooter is probably also the best among the Saint level. Ray just stretched out his hand to block the move. The one caught in his palm was a humanoid monster. She has beautiful golden hair and is covered in a lot of fur. He nodded because he had found a clue. He had a guess in his mind, he just needed a verification. After hearing Ray's confirmation, she smiled cheerfully. I was too impulsive just now, I'm sorry. Can I ask if you came in from outside? Ray asked. You mentioned the evil god apostle, what is that? After she appeared, the monsters preparing to attack were obviously frightened and stopped moving, so he struggled to break free and distance himself. Do you always feel that this plot seems a bit familiar? The exposed face, belly, and thighs all have a human-like skin color. After saying that, she looked at Ray with obvious excitement, although it is indeed good and fits his definition of a monster girl. The Wolf King I saw yesterday was also among them. I am just satisfied that this trip was not in vain. The opponent seemed to have discovered something in the previous attack, so he stopped. Before he could speak, giant wolves sprang out. What message does it convey when it comes to a monster woman? The female monster said disdainfully. Of course it's those guys pretending to be humans. Even if they look different, they can't change their inhuman nature. But he still knew what was more important. Ray frowned and said, indeed. Ray looked at her and nodded. There were several pieces of cloth wrapped around the body. Then do you have two other companions? The monster in front of me obviously knows a lot of things, and you can learn more by following the explanation. That's right. The high chest was only tied up with a circle of fabric which was basically not covered. Not a compliment to her figure. She put away her hostility. Harley said you were not an enemy and let them go. You seem to be different from those apostles. Although I don't understand how the other party knew, she didn't expect the attack to be blocked so easily. Ray asked, what prophecy are you talking about? Of course, the power of the evil god will gradually revive, and we alone can't stop it at all, so the goddess left a prophecy. One day, on the eve of the evil god's resurrection, those who have inherited the blood of the demons and the blood of the noble king will man, and a mighty son of man will come here. It's true, you are the prophesied son of mankind. You finally showed up, you thought you couldn't wait until this day, but he didn't hide it. What are you doing here? Of course it's to rescue the goddess and ask her to help seal the evil god again. Rescue the goddess. This is strange, shouldn't the one who was sealed be the evil god? The monster woman explained. The goddess sealed the evil god at the expense of herself. In fact, what we did was not to rescue the goddess, but to allow her to regain her freedom briefly to stabilize the seal. Although she was a monster, she showed a sad expression. With our power, there is no way to truly rescue the goddess. However, in order to prevent the evil god from breaking through the seal, we can only do this. Ray looked stern. Are there two keys? One is with you and the other is with humans. Only by collecting all the keys can the goddess be rescued. You actually already know, you are indeed the person in the prophecy. The monster woman in front of her had a strange look in her eyes. No wonder you are so powerful, you can easily block my attack. He was praised and was said to be the person predicted by the goddess. Ray's heart grew cold. The words on both sides are completely opposite, and they are also on completely opposite sides. One said to retrieve the key, and the other said to rescue the goddess. In this way, it is not even clear whether the sealed one is a goddess or an evil god. The female monster's name is Jessie. According to her, there are 100 intelligent monsters. Most of them stayed in the areas where the most monsters gathered. Jessie is the saint-level person responsible for protecting these scattered monsters. As for why they are protected, then, Jessie showed a disgusted expression. The power of the evil god is gradually recovering. Not only the apostles of the evil god, but also us are also affected. At the very beginning, the forms of humans and monsters are interchanged. The apostles of the evil god who were supposed to be monsters developed intelligence, but they were degenerating when they were supposed to be humans. Only a few of them will appear mutated, that is, humanoid monsters. Rather than saying that they can speak, it is better to say that they have restored their original abilities. But even if their language skills have deteriorated, they still have wisdom. Until the evil gods became stronger and stronger and they began to turn into real monsters. These are the monsters that just tried to attack Ray. Hearing this from Jesse's mouth made Ray digest it, if what Jesse said is true. The purpose of the patriarch and the others was to take away the key so that the goddess would not have the chance to strengthen the seal. If what the patriarch said is true, then the results will be even worse. Lifting the seal is equivalent to releasing the evil god and the game is over. He personally prefers the monster side. The humans have already made Ray suspicious and many things have been explained on Jesse's side. Monsters have emotions, so it makes sense to say that they are the ones affected by evil gods. Their repeated performances also showed that they were not hostile to him. Jesse initially called him the apostle of the evil god. From taking action for his comrades to discovering that something was wrong and withdrawing his efforts, it can't all be fake, right? On the contrary, it was the human ancestors who harbored ill intentions towards him. Although he was given a perception crystal, it might have been a trap. The strange thing is that the humans did not take action against him, but instead asked him for help. Is it just to take away the key? By the way, maybe let the monsters take a look at the perception crystal to see if they can find anything. Ray was about to bring it up. Then Jesse said, "Thank you for saving one of our new compatriots. I heard from Harley that you went to the apostles of the evil god. They didn't do anything to you, right?" As he said that, Jesse's face changed drastically. "I didn't see your companions. Could it be that your companions were?" "Not really." Ray did not hesitate and directly explained the patriarch's words to Jesse. Jesse suddenly became anxious. "Damn it, those damn apostles actually beat them up. You don't believe what they say, do you?" "Of course not. That's good." Jesse patted his chest, which made Ray's pupils tremble. She didn't notice but invited, "Mr. Ray, come to our gathering place, otherwise you may be in danger from those damn apostles. They actually want to start a fight to grab the key. Just as the prophecy has come true, we will fight with them." Key, by the way, Ray remembered that there was one more important thing he hadn't asked. "The people over there told me that they couldn't pick up the key, so they asked me for help. What happened?" But what exactly he was thinking about was unknown. If that's an enemy, lay a trap or something for him, but why is there such an obvious flaw? Jesse was stunned speechless by his realization. He refused to go to the monster gathering place. However, it will be initiated by monsters. The key is inhabited by the power of the goddess. There is no power of the evil god at all. Those apostles are originally created by the evil god, so of course they cannot pick it up. However, we who have been cursed by the evil god do not have the ability to pick up the key. That's why we need the person in the prophecy goes to rescue the goddess. It seems that this is a breakthrough, and the key is indeed something he must get his hands on. There is a legendary monster there, and during this time you can also find out about the other key in the human tribe. He took the opportunity to get the key and make plans. In fact, he just chose a safer place. Ray thought for a moment and then felt a headache. Ting Lei was prepared to stay with the enemy to find out the location of the key. "Mr. Ray, the situation has changed. A summons has been issued from our gathering place. If you guessed it correctly, we will launch an attack on the apostles of the evil god first." Ray smiled at her. "It's all about protecting the world, isn't it?" Ray told her about the evil god's power. As long as Jesse's words are put into practice, he can prove whether the patriarch is lying. "No wonder you are the person in the prophecy, because you have the potential to become a hero. However, I do not recommend this. You are the hope of success. You can't make any mistakes. Fighting and other things should be left to us. Come and do it." So Ray planned to wait until the two sides fought. Jesse looked moved. "I plan to get the keys first and then take a look." Ray still remembered what the patriarch said, that the key contained the power of the evil god. There is some strange magical frequency spreading in the air. He has the key and can take the initiative, no matter which side is right. Ray was about to leave when he suddenly noticed something. "I understand. I will call for support nearby. If necessary, we will be the force to protect you." That is a change that only those strong at saint level or above can discover. But it didn't say that Jesse and the others couldn't pick up the key. Fight ahead. There is still a small chance that he will overturn. One person and one monster looked at each other, seeming to have strengthened their beliefs in each other. He noticed that Jesse's expression had become as cold as when they first met. Unexpectedly, Jesse's explanation of this is also completely opposite. Upon hearing this information, Ray suddenly thought of a possibility. Why do monsters suddenly want to attack? The only possibility is to get the key. So why do you need a key now? It's because I see hope. He knew where Tilu was now. According to Jesse, the goddess's prophecy includes demons. Turu must have been discovered by the monster. After setting a place where Jesse could be contacted, Ray returned to the tribe as if nothing had happened. After he left, the monster alarm was also lifted. Sure enough, someone came to report the matter and Lilim disguised himself perfectly. He explained what happened to Aurora. The princess had tears in her eyes for some reason. It turns out that I am of some use. Ray said without mercy, I only said that these people existed, but I didn't say that they all played a role. Maybe they were just to make up the numbers. Aurora glared at him. Can't you say something nice? Ray said nothing. After he came back, he discovered something important. Anyway, let's get the key first. Tilu should be at the monster's side. Let's get the key first and we can also meet up with her. She might know something. When the two came out, they also met Yumi. The strange thing is that, according to her, she has no memory of what happened before. Benefactor, what happened next? Ray shook his head and mentioned casually, can I ask about your family? It seems I haven't met them yet. Yumi's usually cheerful expression was a little bitter. My mother and brother were killed by monsters. My father is very busy in the guard team and often goes to other tribes. He hasn't come back yet. It sounds the same as what the clan leader said. When Ray was about to ask another question, Aurora spoke up. I'm sorry for bringing up such a thing suddenly. It doesn't matter, it's a thing of the past. Yumi said this and then mentioned something that interested Ray. Sometimes I feel very strange, that is, I will lose my memory for a period of time for no reason and then I will be very tired. Indeed, in her usual state, it seems unmotivated now. They were talking without hiding it from others and someone from the side intervened. It was the two men who had greeted Ray and the others before. So Yumi, it's the same for you. It happens to me every time after hunting monsters. I thought it was my problem alone. I asked the clan leader and he told me to have a good rest and not to be tired. Yumi's eyes widened. Is this the case for everyone? What's going on? The expressions of the three people cannot be faked. Ray's expression narrowed slightly. They didn't hide anything, so the person who concealed it could only be the clan leader. What happened to the Yomi family is true, but others are also surprised. What is the reason? Thinking of Jesse saying that human beings are transformed from the evil god's apostles, Ray had a vague feeling. Are their current individual consciousnesses real? So what went wrong? Suddenly, a vague dark color flashed in a man's eyes. He suddenly said, when I woke up one time I was covered in the blood of monsters. It really scared me. Did you fall asleep while killing monsters? The other person obviously didn't believe it and joked. Seriously, I haven't even left the tribe. Where did the monsters come from? Yumi thought for a moment. If it's just the blood of monsters, there might be one somewhere. It's the other tent next to the one responsible for storing food. Should we take a look? Yumi hesitated. Did the patriarch say you can't enter? The man seemed eager to make sense of what was going on. He continued. You don't know, the clan leader just went out to look for the ancestor. What I looked at seemed to be something. Let's take a sneak peek. It's nothing. Maybe we can figure out the reason for us. Yumi and the other man were visibly shaken. As a guard, if the clan leader is not here, there is still a way to sneak in. Ray also wanted to take a look. Well, I'll take you with me to join in the fun. Having a Saint-level member join the team is undoubtedly a shot in the arm. Whether it is sneaking in or anything else, it is absolutely guaranteed and will not be easily discovered. Okay, benefactor, let's go together. Yumi leads the way. Aurora from behind poked Ray and put her lips to his ear. What do you want to do? What Ray said before was to secretly pry for information. Now it's different than promised. Wow, sister princess, you still haven't forgotten to flirt with me until now. Let's talk about it later when we get back. Now let us lend you your benefactor. They followed the three of them to a huge tent. Several people looked in the direction of Ray's finger and found two patrols walking with their backs to them. Ray took some, not knowing what they were. The pool was bubbling and thick liquid was surging in it. There doesn't seem to be anything else. The front is separated by animal skins similar to curtains and divided into different small rooms. After getting closer, Ray discovered that there was a barrier set up inside the tent. At this time, a person lifted up the animal skin. Aurora only felt a little nauseous. As soon as I entered, I saw an unknown red liquid in a jar. His mouth was quickly covered and his voice was blocked by magic. Just by looking at it, Ray didn't know what it was but could only feel the abundant magic power. So I left it a little longer to observe again. Yumi expressed that she understood, and several people looked at the place covered with cloth in front of them. In front of him was a huge pool filled with blood-red liquid. Ray said simply, "Speak as concisely as possible. Let's solve it quickly." Yumi's eyes widened. There is a magic barrier, or it was arranged by the clan leader. What should I do? I looked at several rooms in a row and they all contained compartments with cans. Wow, so powerful. The expressions of the three Yumi and others beside them became dull, the same as before at Ray's door. He walked forward first, then couldn't help but stop there. I thought it would take a lot of effort. A magic film covers the pool, which seems to be playing some role. Yumi and the others didn't have any impression after seeing it. What? Yumi reacted and looked at Ray with shining eyes. Just appearing behind them is too bold. As they said that, they felt like the world was spinning. The man said, guards usually have animal skins that record magic power. He was about to feel it carefully when he suddenly realized something was wrong. If they don't come, there's really no way they can get in with just Yaomi. Yumi was a little disappointed. The things within the field of vision have completely changed. Ray noticed a boiling magic power. The real function of this animal skin was to isolate the magic power. Ray, who was holding his arms and holding both wrists, shrugged, indicating that it was difficult to explain. Take them away first. Ray made this decision instantly, but the liquid in the pool changed at this time. The boiling liquid seemed to be alive, passing straight through the covering magic membrane. A strong smell of blood hit his face. Is that blood? Blood of what? Ray reacted very quickly, taking Aurora into his arms with one hand and instantly deployed wind magic with the other hand to isolate the blood. The invisible barrier completely blocked the spurting blood. Splashes of blood were scattered everywhere and a pungent smell filled the air. Things are in trouble. As Ray thought this, he heard the guard's voice. What's the noise? Someone broke in. Damn it, they took advantage of the clan leader's departure. Could it be the monster from before? The footsteps are getting closer. Ray wrapped everyone in his magic power and was about to teleport. A magic light blade stopped him abruptly. Behind him, a man in a guard uniform with a flowing cloak appeared quietly. The pressure of his magic resonated with the magic in the air. Saint level, it turns out that there are hidden strong men in the tribe. The guard's vision was obscured by the magic light and he couldn't see the figure here. Is it a monster? How did it sneak in? Of course, Ray didn't reply. He just wanted to get out of here as soon as possible. Before, this holy level's ability to hide aura was perfect. Unexpectedly, he was stopped. If he wants to leave now, even if there are a few more saints on the opposite side and a few more burdens on his side, it will be easy. But what people didn't expect was that the blood in the pool gushed out with Ray. This was fine with him, but there was something wrong with the guard. The moment he saw the blood, struggle appeared on the guard's face and his magic power began to stir. Hunden, the guard said this, covering his head and feeling a little unsteady on his feet. Ray couldn't help but stop. Could it be said that this holy level is just like Yumi and the others? Just because he is strong, he can still resist. He didn't react and saw the blood engulfing the guard. Wrapped in blood, the guard suddenly lost resistance and his expression became dull. Ray felt vaguely uneasy. Everyone at the saint level will be affected and things are really in trouble. However, the changes continued. A strong heartbeat suddenly sounded. Just hearing this sound makes me feel like my heart is being squeezed. The guard slowly turned around and stared at Ray. Looking carefully, his skin turned a strange red, with red meridians all over his body. Immediately afterwards, his steps staggered. He stumbled and fell to the ground again. The guard didn't get up again, but was scratching his body like it was itching. No, that can't be called tickling. It's like he wants to tear his own flesh to pieces. Finally, he tore his skin. His nails dug deeply into his flesh, and crimson blood gushed out from his wounds. The guard howled in pain, but the voice was low and deep, not like a human being could roar at all. The ground shook due to his slapping and the force was terrifying. A large amount of blood helped the guard reshape his body. He has completely lost his human form and turned into a monster full of bloated tumors. Ray was a little shocked. The guard now looks like a living monster. Ray, look at Yumi and the others. Aurora suppressed the instinctive reaction of nausea. She saw the strange behavior of Yumi and others and quickly reminded Ray. The three Yumi people on the side also started scratching their bodies, seemingly the same as the guard. Ray took out the can of liquid that he had no idea of its use before. After hesitating for a while, he still gave it to Yumi and the others. Just like Yumi the day before, everyone passed out, also stopped moving. He raised his head and glanced at his surroundings. The magic barrier responsible for protecting this place prevented the blood coming out of the pool from spreading out. The guards who ran over to see the situation were also drowned in blood and turned into two smaller monsters. The matter has become too big to be concealed. Ray had no idea. Will other people outside like Yumi and the guard become such monsters? None of them seemed to know. Is it innocent or is there some other reason? He pulled out the divine sword and Liu was connected with his magic power and the golden light overwhelmed everything overwhelmingly. Before getting the truth, let's solve the trouble first. Ray changes plans. He decided not to leave and must find out clearly this time. If the legend comes later, he will be ready to run away at any time. If it's the clan leader who comes, talk to him face to face. Not far away, terrifying magic waves spread out. Just in time, the clan leader is back. Let's confront him face to face and ask him clearly. Ray wanted to see if they could ever recover. As a result, instead of trying to escape or hide, Ray chose to confront him head-on. Don't know what went wrong. If we say Yumi and the others have changed into monsters, 2 weak monsters were chopped off and the blood flowing from the monsters was cut off. As for this saint-level person. But before they launched their attack, they were overwhelmed by countless thunder and lightning pouring down from the sky. Not on the same level at all. The fact that the Patriarch stopped this thing that day proved that another liquid could be used to suppress it. After turning into a monster several meters tall, the strength of the guard, who is a saint level, has greatly improved. After being electrocuted until it was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, Ray tried filling it with red liquid again. The saint level aura descended and he was the leader of the tribe. If there are more of these things, they might threaten Turu. There was no warning from the omen perception and the legend did not come. The rating is probably close to S level. The golden light from the sword tip carved countless sharp slashes in the air. Listening to what the monsters are saying, it is almost certain that there is a problem on the human side. They broke in secretly and discovered the secret of the party. It forced itself free of its chains. To avoid hurting his eyes, Ray threw them aside. The 3 monsters started running at high speed at the same time, pulling out afterimages of their bodies and attacking Ray. The young man just danced the sword flower casually. Ray thought so. She felt that the goddess's prophecy was credible and favored the monster. She grabbed Ray's sleeve and hugged the strong man next to her tightly. Aurora has expressed her stance before. The saint-level monster's skin and flesh burst open, and it let out a painful cry. The bodies of the 2 guards had undergone drastic changes, and they were about to return to their human form. Tie the monsters with thunder chains and fill their bodies and mouths with canned red liquid. The monster is still struggling, and the tumors on its body are beating like a heart. Ray, this matter has become a big deal and we can't hide it. What are you going to do next? Ray listened to her words and looked up at the sky. However, no matter how much he fell, the guard showed no signs of recovering. Aurora was a little unbelievable. The monster got up again, its breath much weaker. The outgoing clan leader passed through the barrier and landed directly in front of Ray. Ray was still thinking about how to ask tougher questions when he heard the clan leader say anxiously, "Mr. Ray, thank you for delaying time for us. You must also know that this monster is very strong. Even a saint-level monster cannot handle it. Leave the rest to me, you go first." "Thank you, where did this come from? Could things still be turning around?" The Patriarch opened his big hands and blocked them with his old body. "It seems like I have to face the monster on my own." Ray thought for a moment and said, "The monster is no longer a threat. Can we talk about other things?" "How is that possible? That's a saint-level monster that can fight dozens of enemies, isn't it?" The Patriarch said, seeing the ferocious roaring monster being ravaged by thunder and lightning. He said that the color of this monster was different from the previous one. It's black now, but it turned out to be struck by lightning. Under the dumbfounded gaze of the clan leader, Ray casually found a thunder chain and hung up the monster. A lot of that blood was absorbed by the monster. The rest had been burned away by Ray with flames. "Patriarch, what is going on here? I think you need to give me a reasonable explanation." He is strong and does not panic at all. It took the clan leader a long time to come back to his senses. Feeling the impact on the barrier, he immediately rushed back from the way. "When I saw Ray, I thought he had sacrificed his life to block the monster. It doesn't appear to be the case." The clan leader looked at the mess around him and saw Yumi and the others who were unconscious. He knew what Ray was asking him, and he seemed much older for a moment. "Mr. Ray, thank you for preventing a possible disaster in time. As for what you want to ask, yes, I concealed and deceived you about Yumi. I will explain it clearly to you. Can you follow me?" He sighed and prepared to lead the way. Ray did not follow. "Do you think I will still believe you after seeing this scene?" The Patriarch's face showed bitterness. "It's normal for you not to believe me, but I hid this matter from you and everything else is completely false." Ray frowned and Aurora beside him also looked disbelieving. People have become monsters and there is nothing false. He wanted to see how the clan leader explained it clearly. Then just explain it directly right here. The clan leader was confused for a moment and then figured out the reason. "It's impossible for me to do anything to you, and with your strength I'm afraid only the ancestor can do anything." The clan leader said this helplessly but still stopped and said, I originally wanted to take you to see it. His eyes recalled the past. Mr. Ray, you remember what I said about us being cursed by the evil god, right? Ray didn't believe it. You mean this look is a curse? They all looked at the monster the guard had turned into. The patriarch continued. Yes, that is a curse that can make us lose our rationality and turn into complete monsters. That curse started after we went through all the hard work and killed the first intelligent monster. Our companions are here once you reach a certain age. You will gradually turn into that ugly monster after fighting or coming into contact with special intelligent monsters. Listen to him. Ray remembered that Yumi said it smells of monsters when she was transforming yesterday. There is a correspondence here. Is what the patriarch said true? Could the blood in the pool be related to intelligent monsters? Although there is an antidote, we become monsters more and more often, and we lose the memory of that period. As time goes by, only the patriarchs and a few leaders of each tribe know about this. Hear what the patriarch said. Didn't he know that blood can attack people automatically? The conversation came to an end for now, judging from what happened. Ray originally thought that the target of the blood pool was people like Yumi who would be affected. Ray was a little confused. Ray and Aurora were looked at with admiration and walked out of the barrier openly. It turns out not to be so. He couldn't understand more and more, so he could only continue to listen. Can he still change back to human form? Clan leader, isn't the blood in the pool aggressive? I saw it actively attacked other people. The patriarch replied, it just depends on luck. The antidote here is probably useless. He has absorbed a lot of blood to purify the monsters and the curse has become serious. If he is lucky, the key left by the goddess may be able to save him. Otherwise, we can only deal with him personally. Take the initiative. How is it possible? Isn't that a dead thing? It seems that the monster did something. Damn it, those guys must be eliminated at all costs. Ray knew he was talking about canned liquid. No one knew they had sneaked in, and they called them everyone's benefactors. The patriarch thought that Ray had discovered a problem and came to help. It wasn't until by chance that we accidentally let our blood come into contact with the key that holds the power of the goddess, and we discovered that the goddess was still protecting us, so we found something similar to the antidote. So Ray didn't want to fall out, so he hid the fact that he came to investigate because he was talking to monsters and didn't trust them. That is what we are going to use to make the antidote, but before the production is completed, it is also highly poisonous to us. As long as it touches it, it will trigger a curse. It's really strange. Why doesn't this blood escape? Could it be? Is it the fault of the monster that broke into the tribe before? The patriarch glanced at the monster that was unable to struggle. This man is one of the insiders in the tribe, and he is also Yumi's father. He has always been in the tribe. We usually say that he has gone to other tribes, but after all, he is the only saint here, so the captain of the guard team, no replacement. It's not like the other person is lying either. The patriarch continued to explain. What's going on with all that monster blood? Or could he say that the fact that he saw blood coming towards them was artificially manipulated? After listening to the patriarch's explanation, he actually felt that it made some sense. He only knew that his ancestor could do so easily to deal with his compatriots who had turned into monsters at the saint level. Then Yumi and others were affected, and Zuchai attacked them. Ray took one more look at the monster. The clan leader will first deal with the impact caused here, and will discuss the remaining matters later. Ray didn't want to be exposed, so he didn't explain clearly. At the beginning, we had no choice but to ruthlessly kill our companions who had turned into monsters. We were very aware of the power possessed by monsters, but we still chose to kill all the intelligent monsters. Otherwise, those monsters would bring more terrifying consequences. Disaster. The chains binding the monster were still flashing with lightning, and the air was shaken by it. It was they who broke in and found the pool of blood. That turned out to be the father Yumi mentioned. Although he has gained deeper trust, Ray is not happy at all. Through this incident, he learned more things. However, I only feel that the truth is further away. The blood in the pool is dead, so it must be manipulated by someone. The clan leader thought it was the work of a monster. Ray knew that, of course not. He was the one who brought the monster. He also sent it away personally. This means that there is some unknown force hidden somewhere. With Ray's strength, there is no trace of this power. He felt that it might be related to something that caused his skills to malfunction. In that case, it will be difficult to handle. No matter how you think about it, you will only feel that things are getting more and more troublesome. He was just here to help Aurora solve the curse problem, and he was just going to beat up the floor master. Why are you involved in such a troublesome thing now? Aurora, do you think the patriarch's words are credible? Aurora thought hard. I think the words from the monsters are more credible. Isn't your Tilu also with them? It doesn't feel like they are lying. However, the patriarch can't prove that he lied. Everything has been explained. The curse of the evil god is indeed an issue he has mentioned long ago. With that said, Ray motioned to Aurora to look around at the people around her. When those people saw them, they all showed gratitude. Some people greeted them more warmly than before, and some people gave them gifts. Do you think they are all lying to us? Aurora couldn't refute, well, it was just my idea. You can just follow your own idea. Ray shrugged, that's what I originally planned. Aurora's eyes widened, then why are you asking me for my opinion? Just asking. Seeing Aurora's slightly depressed expression, Ray felt a little more relaxed. He thought of Emily and wanted to bully his own knight. It's better to solve it as soon as possible and find Tilu and go back together, to this end. He stopped pretending and showed his cards. As a man who owns a plugin, who will bother you to find the truth? Originally, he thought that this was not a good idea. He didn't want to get the answer through force. But this is the fastest way. Thinking about it carefully, it seems that there are no side effects. Ray asked Aurora to stand back and wait. She's not completely her own person yet, so it's better not to expose her abilities. He randomly found a single member of the tribe. Cause, the man's eyes became glazed over. Tell me about monsters, evil gods and goddesses. Chirping. Okay, forget this memory. Let Lilim check it again and turn off the skill after making sure it is correct. This cycle repeats itself. Aurora watched as Ray talked to dozens of people. When I came back, my eyes turned into dead fish eyes. It's so mysterious, how's it going? It's not that great, let's seek the truth. Ray is really confused now, he was lucky. Two of the people he just found were members of the tribe mentioned by the patriarch and knew a lot of things. But no one knows the clan leader in such detail. Ray even heard about some of the grievances between them and the monsters. And all the information obtained proves that the patriarch did not lie in any way. These people cover different ages and genders and can basically represent everyone. This was enough to prove that they didn't lie to him, at least that's what they remember. Ray also wanted to use it directly on the clan leader. It's a pity that the old man's combat power is higher than him and he is close to the peak of saint level. Instead, you can wait until you have the opportunity to use it on intelligent monsters. He also has special bonuses against monsters. After seeing the patriarch finishing the matter, the two went to talk again. Mr. Ray, if you ask any more, I can basically tell you without reservation. I hope you can trust us again. We really need your power to regain the key. The patriarch's attitude was very sincere. Seeing that they were in trouble, Ray went to help directly. He didn't know how many people were saved. However, he discovered his deception and his trust was shaken. Naturally, the patriarch would no longer hide it from him. Somewhere, an almost withered body crawled out of the small tent. I didn't expect that you would use your accumulated strength as a bet. This is strange. Is it important to take the key away? Ray knew what the patriarch was hiding, why not? Of course he just said it casually. Ray said another important thing, I want to know the location of the key you have here. Really? Didn't you also commit a foul? I saw it, and you went out of your way to give him a reminder to increase the possibility of a change. Unfortunately, I'm the best at adapting to circumstances. The patriarch was a little embarrassed. This is absolutely not possible. Otherwise, I agree to tell you the location of the key, but I have to ask my ancestor about this matter. Will you agree to go there with me again? The patriarch still refused to tell him the reason. The strange thing is that this all comes from one person. Of course it's fun, aren't you watching? I have already planned the direction of the plot, but he still keeps doubting. But there is no use in doubting. He still has to get the result. After all, if he wants to leave here, he must do something in the end, make a judgment. I'm afraid this won't work for now. When the time comes, I will definitely tell you how to do it. As for finding that ancestor again, Ray said bluntly, I want to know how to get back. Ray smiled and said, I suddenly thought of something. Didn't you say you wanted to take back the key? If I leave with 2 keys, will the seal be safe? Oh well, isn't it fun just to get a result to change the direction of fate? One is frivolous and active, the other is calm. The patriarch's eyes widened. Do you know what this is for? To be honest, Ray didn't really want to go. As the girl's words fell, I shouldn't have gone to the ground. Okay, let's go then. He even agreed to tell him the location of the key. Let me see, things are progressing too slowly now, so let's add some ingredients first. In order to win back this friendly army, he was also the benefactor of the tribe. Hey sister, you regret it, this is really rare. Don't you want to see the growth of your favorite children? Some people have broken their fate, isn't it great? I will measure this time for them. It's custom made, do you want me to tell you what the outcome will be for that child this time? Interesting sister, this is the human race that broke your destiny. It's really interesting. The direction of the plot has changed significantly. I even pushed him, but in the end, he hasn't made a decision yet. It's really interesting. But it's not impossible to go there for the keys, in a magnificent palace. A vague dark color flashed in his eyes as if he had received some kind of instruction. Two girlish voices sound like gospel. No, absolutely not. Ray took Aurora and followed the patriarch to fly to the location of the ancestor of mankind. Mr. Ray, there were a lot of things going on before. I almost forgot to tell you. The monsters are preparing to attack us for some reason. It is estimated that the battle will start soon. If you trust us, we hope to act according to the previous plan. Oh, that's it. Anyway, let's finish solving the things here first. Ray looked surprised, as if it was the first time he heard the news. They soon arrived at the small tent from last time. The difference was that this time, Ray felt the danger before he even got close. He motioned to Aurora with his eyes. The latter understood what he meant and hid behind him obediently. The patriarch bowed deeply in front. Ancestor, we have something to ask for instructions on. After the words fell, the tent trembled slightly, but after waiting for a while, there was no response. Ancestor. The patriarch took a few steps forward, ready to go over and check. Ray felt the alarm ringing more and more urgently. At the same time as the magic power broke out, he did not hesitate to call out Lilim to take Aurora away. A figure was as fast as a ghost and arrived behind Ray in an instant. Ray's body didn't move, and the divine sword at his waist was automatically unsheathed, colliding with the cutting edge. Seeing that Liu was about to be unable to resist, Ray injected his magic power and used his dragon body at the same time, but was still knocked away by the huge force. The earth shook, the grassland was dug up, and dust rose. The patriarch looked intently at the figure, and it turned out to be his ancestor. How could the ancestor take action against Ray? As a saint, the latter is bound to die. Before he could figure out the situation, he heard a familiar voice. Is this a legend? He actually carried out a sneak attack. The young man's figure emerged from the dust. He waved his sword slightly, and the howling wind blew away all the dust. Just like he said, the legendary strong man attacked him sneakily. It turns out that Ray is fine. And where the collision occurred, the withered ancestor glanced at Lilim and Aurora, who were fleeing far away, and looked away as if he was not interested. Then his figure disappeared directly. The patriarch, who is considered a top powerhouse among the saints, simply cannot keep up. Tusk. Ray could clearly see the opponent's movements. But just when he was about to move, his body was repulsed by different magic powers in the space. Such is the power that legend has over his surroundings. Just this one move would have already sentenced the average saint to death. Ray activates multiple skills at the same time. The magic eye freezes the enemy for a moment, causing his eyes to swell slightly. It directly produces a pair of dragon-scale armor, which greatly improves physical ability and enhances defense. Borrow Liu's magic power for a second supposition. The legendary level of magic power in his body continued to surge, and the surrounding larger space was brought under control. But even so, Ray just barely raised his sword. Not long ago, this human ancestor gave him the light attribute perception crystal. The enemy himself is also a light legend. The dry palm was wrapped in magic power and directly penetrated Ray's triple magic defense of earth, water, and ice. Feeling the heavy punch pressure, Ray raised his sword to block. The power was more exaggerated than imagined, making him a few inches shorter. The magic power continued to press on, making it difficult to breathe. Not only did Ray not resist, but he suddenly let go of his hand. The ancestor's attack was led by Liu and hit the other side. Ray took the opportunity to spin his body and kicked the withered old man in the chin. The additional wind blade magic in an instant triggered a bombing. In addition to the enhancement of skills and strength, his own combat experience is also increasing. Without using skills such as limit breakthrough, Ray's strength is much lower than that of his ancestor, but he can successfully fight back. This is proof, but what is unexpected is, after taking this kick, the ancestor's body remained motionless. A magic film caught the magic that could instantly kill the saint level. Legend, Ray seems to be able to understand the meaning of those strong men being given this title. Just as he was about to pull away, someone grabbed his leg. When exposed to the other party's stern eyes, Ray could no longer hold back. Limit breakthrough 3 minutes. 3 minutes to either deal with the opponent or run away. Otherwise, he will run out of magic power. The surrounding magic was swallowed up by Ray. His physical fitness improved again. With his legs caught, Ray forcibly turned his body over in the air and kicked away the ancestor's hand with his other foot. At the same time, the divine sword fell into his hand. A sword was swung out, the space was oppressed, and the surrounding scenery was robbed of color by the magic light. The sword light touched the ancestor's chest before he raised his hand. However, the young man's voice suddenly appeared from behind the patriarch. Ray made plans but saw the patriarch breaking through the raging magic storm around him and coming towards him. Ancestor, Mr. Ray, stop now and don't fight anymore. As the ground shook, Ray held his breath slightly. His sword, except for the bloodthirsty and frenzied fighting, had not reached its peak, and the body's super strengthening and extreme liberation had not been used, but he had basically used his full strength. The patriarch's expression was bitter. If I wanted to lie to you, my ancestor would have taken action the first time. There is no need to wait until now, and there is no need to tell you so many things. I really don't know anything. But will he really not be shocked to death by the aftermath? He thought for a moment and decided to stop it. If you compress the limit breakthrough to 1 second, you will be fully prepared. How can I trust you? It took him a long time before he remembered that he hadn't figured out the situation yet. Ray expressed doubts about his performance. He is also a saint, so why is there such a big difference from Ray? This is a saint-level legend. Why does he think his ancestor is inferior? It probably didn't cause any harm. Darkness flashed in the eyes of the clan leader behind him, and a dagger appeared in his hand, and he stabbed Ray hard in front of him. What we need to do now is to stop that battle. The patriarch kept his mouth open and looked at this scene in astonishment. The patriarch looked at Ray anxiously. Fortunately, you're okay. I think there must be some misunderstanding. Let me and the ancestor explain it clearly first. The source of the canyon, he could feel that the crisis had not been resolved. That makes sense, but I have never completely trusted you. In this brief moment of fighting, he didn't even react. As a saint, the patriarch has never felt that he is so insignificant. Maybe he can kill the opponent instantly. I originally thought that Ray was the strongest at the saint level, but I bet he could already compete with the ancestor. Therefore, we must retreat first this time. Although the sword slash just hit the target, it felt strange. At this moment, a dark color covered his consciousness. Ray expressed her trust in him and took a few steps forward without warning, looking at the bottomless crack. That's right. Ray didn't make any move and he was about to succeed. But once he fails, he will be at the mercy of others. The ground cracked into a canyon, and the withered old man's body was cut directly into the bottom of the cracked ground. If you are prepared in advance to initiate transfer, of course your body does not need to move. Ray sighed slightly, and the cold light of his sword effortlessly broke through the clan leader's protective magic power. Just when he was about to strike down with another sword, the human ancestor hiding in the dark gave up another sneak attack. He stretched out his dry palm and used magic power to deflect the sword. The divine sword in the palm made a sonorous and powerful collision sound. It looks like they are evenly matched, but Ray knew that he relied on his magic eyes and discernment, as well as his constant gaze, to keep up with the opponent's movements. Sword pressure and fist pressure clashed wildly, and the power that had nowhere to go set off a storm of magic that spread around. Ray barely grasped a flaw, forced the enemy back, and opened up enough distance. However, in the next moment, his expression changed drastically. I saw dazzling magic lines carving themselves in the air, and rows of magic arrays blocking the sky appeared out of thin air. Countless super-large light magics are constructed and formed. That scene, which is enough to make people feel frightened, is an extraordinary phenomenon caused by just one person. Ray took a deep breath and gritted his teeth. The flow of magic power was too chaotic, making it difficult for him to move. If you want to run away, you must survive this wave of attacks head-on. Dragon language magic, magical imagination composition. For the first time, Ray builds magic at full speed without any reservations. He competes with the enemy before him for control of the magic in the air. No hesitation at all. 9 attribute magic appeared at the same time, and many huge magic circles rose from the ground one by one, competing with the magic circle in the sky. Various colors of magic converge into a destructive force, erasing all surrounding sounds and taking away everything on the ground. Grassland. No, there is nothing but charred earth with black smoke. Ray didn't see the result of the collision at all. His figure ran wildly with wind and thunder and arrived outside the chaotic magic flow in an instant. Just when I was about to start the continuous transfer in one go, another powerful aura came. It was a standing bull-headed monster, its burly body filled with explosive power. Legend, it is the strongest of monsters. Ray ran away without hesitation. If this person is also an enemy, if he doesn't run away, Ray will really be in danger. His figure flashed continuously, and soon he caught up with Aurora and the others. They were talking to someone. It was Jesse, who was a monster. At the same time, a terrifying magical aura came from behind. 2 more frightening auras were born than the collision of magic just now. The moment the attack exploded, the ground seemed to be lifted up. Legendary magic, Ray became more and more curious about the next level of magic power. The legendary monster just now seemed to be coming to save him, although he can run away on his own. Jesse saw him and said, "Mr. Ray, you came just in time. Please help me explain to these two that I am really not an enemy." Lilim protected Aurora, and Jesse stood at a distance to explain in order not to worry them. Seeing Ray, the two women came over. "Are you okay? That ancestor actually carried out a sneak attack." "It's too much. Master, are you okay?" After all, the opponent this time was a legend. Aurora was going straight up and down, and Lilim was also very close. "Well, I'm fine." Jesse jumped in excitedly. "Don't worry, our king will come to you as soon as he hears the news. It seems he has caught up." After knowing that she was not an enemy, Aurora relaxed slightly and then became confused. "But hasn't the battle been going on for a while? Your king has just passed." "Hey, really?" Ray nodded. "I was just about to run away when I ran into that legendary monster." He didn't leave immediately because he wanted to give Lilim time to create enough distance, so I slipped away a little later. Hear this. Jesse himself is obviously a monster, but he looks at Ray like a monster. It's difficult. Could it be said that before that you were fighting each other on your own? Aurora was a little anxious just now. She was only worried about Ray's safety and didn't think much about it. Only now did I react. Ray is completely fine. Doesn't that mean he can challenge Legend? At the last recognition banquet, although Ray also blocked legendary level magic, it stands to reason that it is an exaggeration. But after all, it was a fight for control of magic power, so there was still a chance. She couldn't believe it. At first, I heard that when Ray was a senior magician, he could reach the saint level. This was outrageous enough. Seeing him easily ravaging the same level of rare monsters as a saint, this is very exaggerated. Turns out he was able to go toe-to-toe with a true legend. He still couldn't figure it out. Does this mean that they don't want to know about the key, so they want to get rid of him? She is my companion, but she usually cannot come out similar to a fairy. It's okay, don't worry about it. Are Yumi and others in the tribe also enemies? Aurora was stunned for a moment. Ray lied, and she couldn't understand why. But she quickly accepted the fact that Ray was the one prophesied by the goddess. What a coincidence, but nothing was said. Jesse said, "I told my companions about you, and the king also got the news. The adult said that you are the people in the goddess prophecy and cannot let you take risks, so he thought of moving to the other side's legend. No, I thought I'd bump into you." Fortunately, Ray hasn't gone beyond common sense to that extent, but just like the patriarch said, she almost couldn't understand what nonsense she was talking about. He looked at Jesse. "Why do you come to me? You won't win the battle, right?" Listening to Jesse talking about business, Ray pondered slightly. "Okay, then I'll ask you to take care of me. Humans are the enemy and monsters are allies, that's how it seems now." After saying this, Ray remembered that he had completely broken up with the top human beings. This was not the only opportunity for him to take action, so why did he choose this time? But the next sentence left others stunned. After all, he is the person predicted by the goddess. Even if it is a little bit outrageous, it is understandable. Ray didn't think too much and told him the reason why he came here. Jesse was obviously very happy. "What's the trouble? You are still the people in the goddess prophecy. If you have any requirements, we will try our best to meet them." "Hey, by the way, why are there 3 of you here?" Ray smiled and asked Lilim to come back and rest. "How is that possible?" Ray said a little shyly. "Legend is indeed ridiculously strong. Before he uses the strongest magic, I can just be on a par with him." He originally thought he could get information about the key, but he was accidentally attacked. Then if he is a legend, if he still performs at this level, wouldn't he be going against the grain? Although Jesse felt shocked. There was an accident in this trip, and he was a little regretful that he failed to learn the location of the key. Jesse was a little angry when he heard this. "Those evil apostles are so cunning. Fortunately, you are fine. Leave the key to us." "Ah, by the way, Mr. Ray won't be able to go back. Do you want to go? Our territory." The human ancestor took action against him, and the clan leader followed suit. Let's discuss the next thing first. After flying for an hour, the place we reached was still an endless grassland. The difference is that there is a harmonious community of monsters on the grassland. The originally ferocious monster lay on the grass to rest. There was no fighting among the various races. They lay together quietly. Among them, there was a standing monster at a slightly higher place, looking down at everything. It was a monster with 2 heads and 4 arms, with 1 horn on each head. Other places are no different from the human race. "Jesse, you're back." The monster first greeted Jesse, and then looked at Ray and Ray seriously. "You are the master that Miss Turu mentioned, that so-and-so Ray. Unlike the people here, even him, I don't know what despicable means he used to become Miss Turu's master." The two heads spoke separately and were not friendly to Ray. Jessie glared at them. Why are you talking? He is the person predicted by the goddess. Shut your stinky mouth. After that, she explained to Ray, their name is Teddy. They came after receiving the attack order. Along with him are two other guys and your companions. They should have gone to look for the human tribe where you are, and they will probably come back soon. Tilu is here too. Well, you will see him soon. As for why he is hostile to you, it is because your companions were provoked by him at the beginning and were probably subdued. In addition, they are beautiful. I guess there are many of us here. People are obsessed with her. It seems that Turu is completely fine. Ray glanced at Teddy, then looked away indifferently. Hey, what do you mean? Do you want to fight? The two heads were obviously not used to seeing him, and they issued a challenge in unison. Jessie knew how powerful Ray was and didn't stop him. Let Teddy feel the pain and he will calm down. Ray looked at them strangely and then asked Jessie, if I conquer them, they won't be obsessed with me, right? Jessie was stunned for a moment. Although they have never had a partner, their orientation should be normal. Teddy turned to Jessie, the left side of his head slightly dissatisfied. Hey Jessie, what do you mean my orientation must be normal? But what people didn't expect was that the right side of the head thought seriously. Actually, I think a partner can be of any gender. The head on the left showed an unbelievable expression. What did you say? On the right, think about it, we are together, and for this reason, we have never found a breeding partner. So I thought just keep it like this, it doesn't matter if the two of us are together all the time. The left head made a disgusting expression and tried to separate but could only tilt its neck. I really misjudged you. What is it my problem? Every time the other party disagrees, isn't it because you talk too much? The accumulated conflicts suddenly erupted. The two of them started to quarrel on their own, and their four hands were still entangled with each other. Upon seeing this, Ray quietly walked away from them. Fortunately, he asked in advance, otherwise he would have gotten into trouble. Not long after, 3 waves of magic power appeared on the horizon. That familiar aura was none other than Tilu. Ray didn't hide himself, so the other party naturally recognized him. A torrent of magic power suddenly accelerated and rushed straight into Ray's arms. The pink-haired girl buried her head deeply and didn't get up for a long time. Ray helped her straighten her hair, and then she felt a dampness in her chest. The girl who had always been strong was trembling slightly. He pondered for a moment. Tilu, do you want to suck blood and then drool on my clothes? Aurora on the side saw this scene with a somewhat complicated expression. At this time, he laughed out loud. She thought Ray treated her so carelessly and casually. It seems to be his nature. The girl's body stagnated and the magic pressure was slightly released. There is no need to say who it is aimed at. When she raised her head, her mood had stabilized and only her eyes were slightly red. Master, when the floor collapsed, I suddenly found that I couldn't even protect myself, so I had to rely on you to save me. Just like in the beginning, didn't I play any role? Aurora had a strange look on her face. This guy is already a monster and you are almost the same. There is really no need to compare with him. Tilu's expression was cold. Princess Aurora, you must have caused a lot of trouble to the master during my absence, right? Aurora really couldn't refute. If you think about it carefully, she has only survived so far because of Ray's protection, said the strange female monster who came back with Turu. The goddess's prophecy is that there are 3 people. You are all indispensable. When the time comes, everyone will have corresponding responsibilities. Even if you don't mention that and just look at your strength, Miss Tilu, I really don't think you can't do it. Effect. Jessie covered his face. You don't know Mr. Ray's strength. What strength? So powerful, so terrifying. Among the saint-level experts, the one who can definitely defeat them is the newly arrived Tilu. You know, that is Teddy with 2 heads and 4 arms and almost no flaws. What does the master know that he does not? This person is so powerful, how can he not be offended? Well, they did it themselves, Mr. Ray didn't. She didn't think much about it. The 2 beasts approached Ray diligently and said, Mr. Ray, do you think you need anything or do you need to run errands? We will try our best to complete it. Then he saw Teddy lying on the ground with a bruised nose and face. I just asked a question, where is the process? The monsters here are so enthusiastic that Ray is embarrassed to doubt them. Didn't take action. Why are they hurt? Tilu tilted her head, so he sent them away. What's going on? What about the process? Tilu stared at him closely, wanting to know the answer to the previous question. The 2 monsters who came back had serious eyes. Clearly, here comes Ray. They went to trouble Mr. Ray and were asked a question, and that was that. As for later, they knew about the legend of Ray's hard-on confrontation and came here intact. Then they heard Jessie say, Teddy's injuries were caused by themselves. That's another attitude. As a result, the man only opened his mouth slightly. Ray said truthfully, I can't do anything about that kind of thing, so what we have to do now is to escape. But they were all injured like this, but Ray was not injured at all. It must be provided don't make him angry, the returning male monster asked. It was an exaggeration to think that Tilu could easily crush the opponent. With their character, they will definitely be provocative. Shouldn't escaping be about rescuing the goddess? The two returning monsters looked at each other and judged that the other could not be offended. This Ray's power is evident. Following her master's footsteps is what she should do.
Hello, everyone! As we wrap up this video, I want to share a quick note. I have a Patreon account. If you'd like to support me and enjoy on-demand audiobooks, you can become a Patreon member. Alternatively, you can check out my Google Drive link, which has 500-plus novel audiobooks available through my Ko-fi or Patreon shop. I appreciate your support.